hatchlings, and welcome back to your daily dose of dragon feather! Woo! I'm actually super hyped for today's video. It was requested by you darlings yesterday, but we are going to do a deep dive into all dragon types today. I'm going to do my very best to get to every single dragon type, okay? I feel like I've been preparing my whole life for this video, okay? I'm very excited, so please grab a snack, grab a drink, grab a dragon, because you're gonna need it today. All right, we have this one with us today. Say hello, pickle chips. This is my little crystal for pickle chips, but I digress. I'm super excited to get into this one with you today. We're going to break it off into a little bit of sections. I'm gonna do my best to kind of get into it like via sections. So the way that my guardians kind of want me to do today's video is we're gonna start with like the dragon elements, like elemental dragons. And then we're gonna move into dragon gods and deities, okay? And then we're gonna move into miscellaneous dragons, okay? So it's pretty exciting. Hello, 9 Studios. I'm so excited. We're gonna talk about all the dragon types today. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. I'm also just gonna let you know right now that this video is like not like a, what's it called? It's not like the be all end all of like dragon types, okay? This is just like my personal experience with working with dragons and different types of dragons. These are just all of the dragons that I am aware of and dragons that I have either encountered, I work with, have worked with, or are very close to. Ooh, definitely gonna love this. Raven Wolf, welcome back to your daily dose of dragon feather. We're gonna have so much fun today. I'm really getting into it because, ooh, I forgot my drink. I'll go get it in a second. But, yeah, so I'm feeling very called to do this. I just want you guys to know that this is like, again, my personal experience, okay? So like, you can take this video with a grain of salt, or you can take this video as your Bible. That is up to you. Okay, but this is not the absolute truth, okay? Like this is my experience, okay? So me just sharing with you my experience, right? Isinator, hello, welcome back to your daily dose of dragon feather. And Yinsun777, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Oh, I'm so excited. Sushat Rawat, I hope I said your name right, but thank you so much for joining your daily dose of dragon feather. We are not doing a video for casting spells today, but we will make one soon, I promise. 666 Rider 666, welcome back to your daily dose of dragon feather. Do. Brantley, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. I'm so excited, you guys. Today's gonna be a good one. Ted Traveler, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather, and Jose Edgley, welcome back to your daily dose of dragon feather. Why am I talking in a British accent? How did we get here? Okay, so it's too much hype in the chat. That's honestly why. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? We will be starting with the dragon elementals, okay? So before I get into that, I should go grab a drink. Or should I stick with water? You know what? I should stick with water. Jeanette Evans, welcome back to your daily dose of dragon feather. Morning, having problems going to sleep? Oh, well, that is all good. I hope that you can find some relaxingness in here today's video. Do not drink out of plastic. I'm desperate right now, okay? That's why. Mountain goat. Will FUT, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. We are so happy to have you here to learn about dragons. If you guys are excited as I am to learn about all the dragon types, then you found the best video for your day today, because it's been a long time coming, my friends. So, there is a lot of talk on the internet about dragon elements, and there being 9 of them, okay? We're just gonna jump into the elemental part of this video, okay? So part 1 of today's stream is, yes, you guessed it, elemental dragons, okay? For the dragon types, okay? What does this mean? Well, some would say that there are only 9 elements when it comes to working with dragons. However, that hasn't really been the case for my practice. Okay, my practice, okay? I'm just sharing my practice, okay? This is my perspective, okay? This doesn't have to be yours, okay? You don't have to vibe with this, okay? But in my practice, there has been, in like working with my guardians, there's like 13 main elements that I work with when it comes to dragons. But I will give you both versions, okay? So first, the traditional, I guess, like most popular version is the 9 elements one. Okay, Joshua Jones, welcome back to your daily dose of dragon feather, and thank you. The horned hat is my favorite one, of course, of course. What is this? Richard Copeland, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Today we are talking about working with dragons in your spiritual craft, particularly as a witch. That seems to be the most popular form of people or like practitioners that work with dragons in a spiritual sense. But it doesn't really matter who you are. You can work with dragons. Anyone can work with dragons. All you gotta do is believe in them, brother. So if you're interested, you know, in working with dragons, you know, the way some people might believe in a god, or some people might believe in goddesses, or some people might believe in ancestors, etc. We work with dragons on this channel. It's pretty awesome. So if you're interested, leave that like and subscribe. Shadow, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. So, getting into it. The elementals. What are the 9 elementals? Okay. So according to the most popular, I guess, theory with dragons is that there's 9 elementals. And that would be, of course, earth, air, fire, and water. And then we have spirit, okay? And then we have light and darkness, okay? And then we have chaos and we have maelstrom. Those are gonna be like the most commonly addressed elements when it comes to dragons, okay? How many subscribers do you need to go live? I actually don't know. I think you need to have like at least 1,000 subscribers and like 4,000 hours of watch time. And you've had to have your channel for like, I think a few months, maybe like 3 months before you do. Yeah, Kate, 1,000, that's what I thought. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather, by the way, okay? You need 50 subs to go live. Really, Shadow? Damn, they must have lowered it then since I've been a YouTuber, because I wasn't able to go live until I had 1,000 subs back in the day. Not that I went live back in the day, but chaos isn't an element. Chaos is an element according to some people. This isn't the like I'm talking about like the most common what's it called? The most common like discussed I guess like system for dragon elements. People tend to say that there are like 9. At least most of the people that I know say that there's 9, and then they say what's it called? They're earth, air, fire, water, spirit, light, darkness, chaos, and maelstrom, according to just like most popular what I hear. And then some people will say that there's dragon rulers involved in those. I have never had that experience, okay? I just want to like make that really clear right now. Like I just like have never had that experience in my personal draconic practice, okay? So because this is like a view of my experience with what's it called? With dragons and dragon types, I'm just gonna go basically off of like as I was opening my book of shadows and reading to you guys like all of the like dragon types that I've worked with. So if you guys are a part of the Hatchling clan, which it's linked down below, if you want to join the Hatchling clan, please join. We would love to have you there. But we have what's it called? We have 13 hatchling houses, and the reason why we have 13 hatchling houses that you can sort yourself into is because my guardians basically told me that there's like 13 elements mainly that we work with, okay? So there is basically you know, like in the form of like the hatchlings, in the hatchling clan, the elements that I was told is earth, air, fire, and water, okay? And then spirit, and then we have light and darkness, okay? But then we have love as an element, we have magic as an element, then we have sound as an element, and we have wood as an element, and metal as an element, and magic as an element, okay? So that's been my experience, so let's just break that down. We're gonna start with the earth dragons, okay? Some might argue that wood dragons or metal dragons would be considered earth dragons. Fair, I'll give you that one. If that's how you resonate, I'll give you that one, okay? But earth dragons, in the terms of like elementals, right? You're gonna have like the element of earth as like an umbrella term. What does that mean, right? So what's gonna fall under the earth dragons is going to be the dragon guardians of the land, the earth dragon guardians of the land, right? And then you're gonna get like flower dragons, you're gonna get like crystal dragons, you're gonna get you know, like woodland dragons, you know, like, so for some of you guys who might say like wood falls under earth. I can go either way, you know what I mean? And the only reason why is because wood is made out of cells, okay? Like plants have cells, right? So if you want to take it that way, then you could argue that like any plant life could be like cells too, you know, unless you're like a rock or dirt, you know what I mean? So like you have to understand that when it comes to dragon types, like every practitioner is going to have their own experience and everybody's going to have their own interpretation, and that is completely valid, okay? So like anyone who tells you that like, you know, this is the way you have to work with the elemental dragons and this is the way it is and you have to work with the ruler and you have to do this and you have to do that, like no. Like if that works for you, that's great. Like the whole point of this is to connect with dragons and different types of dragons in the way that resonates with you and that works for you. But what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not make any damn sense to you. But that's the beauty of this practice, right? So when it comes to the earth dragons, really think about how detailed you can get, right? You're gonna have the cave dragons, you're gonna have the mountain dragons, you're gonna have the desert dragons, you're gonna have the sand dragons, you're gonna have, you know, the like different types of rock dragons, you're gonna have like earthquake dragons or underground dragons, or like literally your imagination is your only limitation. Like this is what my dragon guardians tell me, especially Pickle Chips, which is the main dragon that I work with. At least right now in my practice, Pickle Chips has pretty much got a chokehold on me. It's intense. I don't recommend. Pickle Chips is a primary guardian that I work with who is a celestial dragon, okay? But the thing is Pickle Chips tells me that I have to keep expanding my mind as much as possible when it comes to working with different types of dragons, because that is the only limiter I have, okay? That's the only limiter I have when it comes to working with dragons. So, because with that being said, it's really just like the sky's the limit for you. For example, on this channel, I used to talk a lot about the elemental dragon guardians, and that was a specific type of practice that I got from the books from DJ Conway, the Dancing with Dragons books, right? And so the Dancing with Dragon books talks about the four main elements, earth, air, fire, water, having elemental dragon guardians, okay? So the earth elemental dragon guardian would be known as Grail. In my practice now, I don't really work with these elemental dragon guardians as much, if at all, in the way that I used to. I do still work with them in a way, if that makes sense. But some might argue that like the elemental dragon guardian Grail would be the equivalent to the elemental earth dragon ruler. And here's the reason why I don't really subscribe to the dragon ruler type of language, I guess. And that's probably because I'm very much a Yu-Gi-Oh nerd, and there are cards called the elemental dragon rulers in Yu-Gi-Oh, and every time I hear people say, like, reference the dragons as elemental dragon rulers, I literally just think of Yu-Gi-Oh, and it makes me giggle. And that might just be a personal thing, okay? That might be a personal thing for me, and that's totally fine, okay? Like, if that's like just my own perspective and prerogative, that's chill, right? Like, you don't have to subscribe to that. But like, at the end of the day, like I resonate more with like the elemental dragon guardians, if that makes sense. What kind of strangeness is this, Michael Nightwolf? Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. I am a draconic witch and a draconic high priestess. I've been practicing dragon magic for the better half of 2 decades, and if you're interested in learning how to work with dragons in the way that some people might work with God, goddesses, Jesus Christ, or ancestors, then leave a subscribe. You know what I mean? It's kind of fun to see you guys. Samuel, welcome. Good to see you here. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Triple K Mafia, love your name. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. I'm not gonna have kids. I've like literally adopted every human being on the planet. Like I know that might be like weird for some people to hear that, but like in the sense of like I'm here to nurture you. If you're a human being, I'm here to nurture you. I'm here to scold you and remind you how to take care of yourself. I'm also here to make sure you're meeting your needs. You're loved. You're good. Did you shower today? Did you brush your teeth, babes? Little baby, my darling, my child. Did you? Are you taking good care of yourself? Did you drink your water? Please. Okay. Anyway. Yes, we are child-free on this channel. Anyway. I didn't know you liked Yu-Gi-Oh! Hell yeah, Yin-san. I used to have all of like the elemental dragon rulers on my altar, like as correspondence for like Grail, Nalian, Fafnir, and Ceres, which are the elemental dragon guardians, right? So when it comes to earth dragons, right, it can be as, you know, as basic as a literal earth dragon, right? Or you could get as specific as possible. Like you can literally go as specific as trying to connect with a clear quartz dragon. You can do that. Who's stopping you? I'm not. And anyone who says that you can't do that are weirdos. Okay? Weirdos. Do you repeat after me? Weirdos. Okay? If people tell you you can't explore or look into a certain type of dragon, weirdos. Yeah? Cool. Glad we had that. Glad we had that. Oh, I also forgot. In this video, we're also going to be talking about dragon archetypes. So there's a few parts to this video, right? So first, we're just talking about the elemental dragon types, okay? Then we're going to go into the like the dragon hybrids and the dragon you know, for example, like the Hydra is going to be one of them, for example, or a fairy dragon would be one of those kinds of dragons, for example. And then we're going to go into dragon deities. So that would be like Tiamat, for example. And then miscellaneous, which is going to be like a blood dragon. Okay, but we're not there yet, okay? We're not there yet. Okay, so here's the thing. I literally would probably have to take a long time to just sit down and write out all of the very specific details of every single type of dragon there is in existence, okay? Which is why I'm telling you that your imagination is your limitation, okay? Please know that. So for example, when it comes to earth dragons, one of my favorite, and this is not sponsored by the way, but one of my favorite types of dragons to work with when it comes to earth dragons are garden dragons. Look, so this is just a great example of how your imagination is your limitation when it comes to the different types of dragons, okay? Coconut dragon. Coconuts are what? A fruit coming from what? A plant, and plants are what? Earth. So what does that make a coconut dragon? An earth dragon, right? Ooh, I'm loving all the furry comments I'm getting, but no, I'm not. I'm not. So like, do you know what I mean? Like all of these I would consider earth dragons, okay? So like, it doesn't matter. Dragon fruit dragon comes from a plant. Honeydew dragon comes from a plant. Cherry dragon comes from a plant. Broccoli dragon comes from a plant. Do you know what I mean? Like your imagination is the limitation. D&D? Connor McMurphy, no. I am a draconic witch. I work with dragons in my spiritual practice, okay? So do you think you're a dragon? Joanne, I actually do. Fun fact, I identify as dragonkin. Some people might call me a furry for that, but no. That means I believe that I am a human with the spirit of a dragon, and specifically a dragon hatchling, okay? That's why I call, yes, are you a Theron? Yes. Otherkin, specifically dragonkin, yes. You found me, you got me, oh no. Yes, I have made it into many cringe compilations. If you have seen me in a Theron and Otherkin cringe compilation, the honor is mine. I have also made it into Anthony Padilla's video about Otherkin. I spent a day with Therons and Otherkin. I am in that video at 22 seconds representing the dragonkin, So, honor of a lifetime, truly love Anthony Padilla. Smosh is the reason why I love this shit, okay? Dragon soul in human suit. Nick Kapelinski? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Can dragons take on a humanoid form? Gabriel Hoffman, yes, according to many mythologies. They are shapeshifters and often present themselves as human forms. So do you believe that you rule the world or something? No, oh no, I don't. Not at all. Not even a little bit. So in terms of like dragonkin, I believe that I am an unhatched dragon in the spirit world who is coming to incarnate into as many lifetimes as I can to gain as much wisdom, knowledge, and experience before I hatch in the spirit world to become a dragon guardian myself. That is just me. That is just my practice. This is just my perspective, and everybody's entitled to their own religious, spiritual, and faith-based practices, right? So with that being said, that's kind of the context of where I'm coming from, okay? And so, like I said, the earth dragons, okay? when you work with earth dragons, how do you even tap in with that, right? The best way to work with earth dragon is, you guessed it, go touch some grass. I'll wait. Did you touch grass today? No? And you're trying to work with an earth dragon? Huh, and you haven't gotten out of your bed? Seriously? Seriously? When was the last time you touched a tree? I'll wait. I'll wait. Earth dragons, we love to give them crystals. We love to give them plants. One of my favorite ways to honor the earth dragons that I work with is to grow plants and name the plants after them. And depending on how the plant is doing, kind of is a symbol of how my relationship with them is doing. Does that make sense? So there's that. So Ethereum can intermingle with a normal human? Rishu is here. What do you mean that? You know that all Therans are humans, right? Like, literally. Don't you know the viral clip on all levels except physical, I am a wolf? Don't you understand? On all levels except physical, I'm a dragon. Yeah, it's like that these days. Wow, some of you in the chat need to go do massive inner work. Yeah, I know. Bubbles, what's a Theran? A Theran is somebody who believes they have the spirit of an animal, or they psychologically behave as an animal. Some people will feel like, for example, if they're Theran, wolf Theran, which is one of probably the most popular types of Therans, they will feel more like they act like a dog, or like act like a wolf, or like a canine, if that makes sense, then what's it called? They'll act like that in a sense, rather than believing they have the spirit of a wolf, if that makes sense. So there's very different types. The only type I'm really like, I guess, like able to talk on is like my own personal experience as Dragonkin. I really don't know anyone else's experience. This video is not about Dragonkin, which is funny. But yeah, do you believe in God? Yes, I do, Kevin. Lycanthropy, yes. I just wholly don't know about the Therans right now, just gathering as much knowledge about it. No, that's fine. This is interesting in comparison to my Native American teachings. Oh, hell yeah, Michael Nightwolf. Well, actually, shout out to the Native Americans, because they too have a lot of dragons that they work with, and we'll definitely get into that a little bit more in today's video. But Azura, you really like wolves? Go to Albania, Romania. There you can adopt wolves. Good luck. No, I'm not like super. I was just using wolves as like a an example, right? So you believe in reincarnation? Yeah, I guess maybe not in like the traditional sense, but like I am a very huge subscriber to science. I love science, okay? Love that shit. There's science to back up Therans and Otherkin and Dragonkin. I will go into that in a different video, I know. And then there's also science that backs up where I lost your thing. That backs up reincarnation. And what is that? Newton's law. Yeah, you knew it. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred, transmuted, and transformed. And what does that mean? Reincarnation is real. Maybe not in the sense that you take my spirit out of my body and plug it into another spirit, but when I die, all that energy just doesn't go poof. It's transmuted, transferred, transformed into something else, okay? Do we got that? Are we on it? So in the Bible, it says you are a spirit in human form, not an animal or dragon. Yeah, Joan, I don't subscribe to the Bible. Yeah, so that's a book. Yeah, that's a book. Can you go to the spirit world? Yes, I can. And you can too. Memories aren't energy. I disagree. Everything is energy. Surprise! Everything in this universe is energy, frequency, and vibration, and if you don't know that, you don't know reality. Narpy, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather! Yeah! We're having a good one today, okay, guys? But seriously, the earth dragons, go touch some grass, okay? I'm telling you, I promise you, your imagination, and I'm going to be saying that throughout the whole video today, okay? Your imagination is the only limitation. So, that could include tree dragons, forest dragons, literal just earth dragons, crystal dragons, rock dragons, sand dragons, desert dragons, mountain dragons. What else is earth? dirt dragons. Dirty. They're dirty dragons. No, I'm sorry. Sorry, that's so offensive. I'm not trying to be offensive. Where do you learn this from? Joan, I learned it from working with my dragon guardians. I've literally been working with dragons, like I said, pretty much my whole life. My first memories as a little girl were of working with dragons. My adult family and people around me called them my imaginary friends. And ever since, I've just been working with them in my life, you know? It's rare for dragons to incarnate on Earth as humans. Dragons like to stay dragons. Oh, well, Nick. I resonate with that so hard. So hard. Even the dragons you see, okay, so speaking of incarnating dragons on Earth, guess what? There's proof of dragons in the pudding being alive right now. You want to know why? Have you seen the Komodo dragon? Earth dragon. Have you seen the bearded dragon? Earth dragon. Have you seen snakes? Earth dragons. Earth dragons. I cannot express this enough, okay? They are dragons, just different lower types of dragons, right? The dragon is a one single term. That is an umbrella term, okay? And everything that goes underneath that can be considered dragons, right? But just because a wyvern is a dragon doesn't mean that all dragons are wyverns. Do you got me? Do you got me with that one? Yeah? Good talk, good talk. Okay, so that concludes the earth dragons. Moving forward to the water dragons, okay? What does that look like to you? Wow, any type. Any type. Yes, yes. Dragons are reptiles, yes. Reptiles are dragons, yes. So a lizard is a dragon? In my eyes, it is dirty money. In my eyes, it is dirty money. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather, okay? You know, some people might say that dragons must breathe fire in order to be dragons, and I would like to tell you that some of the oldest mythologies about dragons actually associate them with water. So, Hinduism calls dragons the Nagas. Yes, Ted Traveler. And that brings up another good point, because there are dragons in almost every mythology across every continent in the world, and especially so in indigenous cultures. This is what I really, really need to impress upon people, especially the people that subscribe to Abrahamic religions like Jesus, like, you know, Jesus is king, or like, I mean, that's a very specific type of brand of Christianity. But I'm talking about any Judaism, any Christianity, any Catholicism, any Mormonism, any Islam type of perspective, right? There is this, what's it called? There is this overlaying, like, almost anything but what we do is evil type of vibe to it. And you have to understand that a lot of the dragon mythologies and a lot of the dragon legends and lore actually predate these religions, okay? Okay? And arguably, some of these religions have directly plagiarized draconic creation myths. For example, out of the Enuma Elish, Tiamat, the creation myth of Tiamat, seems to be plagiarized in, you guessed it, the Bible, in Genesis, okay? Jesus isn't a religion. Joan, I'm gonna let you know, some of the people in my life would disagree with you, okay? They would disagree with you, okay? But you have to understand that, like, you can be any of those religions and work with dragons. I know that might be a hot take, okay? But you can be Muslim and work with dragons, uh-huh. You can be Christian and work with dragons, uh-huh. You can be Mormon and work with dragons, uh-huh. You can be Catholic and work with dragons, mm-hmm. You can be Jewish and work with dragons, mm-hmm. Even in Chinese tradition, dragons are worshipped. Thank you, Rishu's here. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Speaking of Chinese mythology or Chinese traditions, most of the water dragons that we are familiar with come from their mythologies. A lot of the dragons in Chinese mythology, for example, the Xinlong, I believe is how you pronounce it, that is a type of dragon god known as funny enough, the Azure dragon. Haha, I am Azure dragon feather, but I am not that Azure dragon god. I do not subscribe to being a god. No, I'm just a girl who follows her dragons, okay? Glad we could clarify that. Thank you very much. Yes, but in these mythologies, what would the Azure dragon do? It would bring the rains. It would bring the floods to make the soil fertile. And it would also bring upon droughts if you disapproved or displeased them. So that's why in their or fell on. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of different ones. But yeah, like that's kind of like what I'm talking to as well. So Leviathan was also a sea dragon. Correct. Arguably, some people would say that Tiamat is a sea dragon, but I'm not really talking about those dragons being the elementals. I would assume those ones being more as dragon deities with elemental qualities. But the ones I'm talking about in terms of water dragons or earth dragons or these elemental ones, for example, is strictly based on they are the personification of said element, right? So for example, water dragons, river dragon, pond dragon, rain dragon. Some might argue storm dragon, although storm dragon kind of has an overlap between air and water, or maelstrom, or like electricity, right? That's another one. Haku is a Fei Long. Yes, I love Haku. We are going to make a whole entire live stream about Haku, as that movie, Spirited Away, is actually a story about a girl and her dragon guardian getting stuck in the spirit world and finding their way out together. So we will definitely go back, into that, but in a different episode. But for today, all I'm going to say is that you have, of course, the dragon guardians of certain bodies of water. So you'll have like river dragon guardians. There's a dragon guardian of the Nile River. You know, I'm sure some of you guys have to know that. And then you have, of course, the sea dragons, all of the different kinds of sea dragons. You know, you get your sea serpents. And some would argue that sea snakes are, you know, sea serpents as well. And yes, I would also subscribe to that, okay? When I die, what happens? Well, hopefully, Azura Dragonfeather, me, this lifetime, is my last lifetime. So when I die, I will hatch and become a dragon in the spirit world, and I will get to become one of you guys. One of your guys' dragon guardians, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just a girl who follows the dragons. Africa has a dragon. They call it Mokela Mem... oh gosh. I'm so white. Help me. There's so many things I just cannot pronounce. I remember when I was a kid, there was a cartoon known as Dragon World, or, oh no, Dragon Tales? Are you talking about Dragon Tales? Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales, let's all go to Dragon Tales. Come on now, take my hand, let's all go to Dragon Land. My childhood. If you didn't know, my childhood, okay? So again, the water dragons, right? You can have the mist dragons, and I would go as far as to argue ice dragons or frost dragons would be considered water dragons as well, because just a different form. You're gonna have steam dragons, okay? So again, I'm going to be very, very clear. When it comes to the water dragons, your imagination is what? You guessed it, your only limitation, okay? So that means you also have waterfall dragons. You got saltwater dragons and freshwater dragons, okay? There's so many. I could literally never I never could cover it all in one episode, because there's infinite. I could keep going, right? I could keep going. How old are you and what time is it for me? It's 11:09 p.m. Andrew McFalls, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. It is 8:09 p.m. where I am, and I am 122 years old. I've been here for a while. Yes, I am a dragon. I shift into my human form, okay? So you guys don't get freaked out, okay? Because I look a little scary, okay? This one, very similar to what my dragonkin identity looks like, okay? But I come to you in this human form, my friends. Why? Because you won't be as scared, okay? You won't be as frightened, okay? All right, good talk. Christy, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. I love you. So good to see you. Jessica Kruger, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Yeah. Okay. Side note, I would even be as far as to push my little fingers over here to say that Rainbow dragons are a hybrid of water and light dragons, okay? So after we cover all the elemental dragons, we're gonna touch a little bit on the hybrids of the elements before we jump into the next thing, okay? So, ready? Ready, okay. Walking on into what? Fire dragons. You guessed it. These are probably the most popular, well-known types of dragons. Most commonly known as drakes. Probably. The god of fighting. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Daily dose of dragon feather. We're talking about dragon types today. Hope you're having so much fun. I saw a rainbow today. That's amazing. Charizard. Oh my god. Wait, I have something for you. Hold on. I promise it's worth it. Promise it's worth it. Okay, ready? This might be the greatest thing I own. I love him. Look at him. He's Charizard Rayquaza. We call him Rayquarzard, okay? But sometimes I say it too fast and I accidentally called him Retarzard one time and I feel really bad, but it was funny, okay? It was funny, all right? Anyway, I digress. Nessie's life, yes. So the Loch Ness Monster would be considered a water dragon, for sure. Okay, so fire dragons, right? So what does that mean? Let me take out my scroll for you. You have candle dragons. I know, very interesting, very cute little dudes, right? Give them candle flames and ask them to tend to your flames. They're actually really adorable little altar management dragons, okay? But you guys are probably more familiar with the standard fire dragon, okay? You have your volcano dragons, You have your flare dragons, You have your ember dragons and smolder dragons, What else? Like I said, you have your magma dragons, okay? Lava and magma, maybe the same thing. You know, maybe to your brain it is, to mine, no, because I have this thing called autism and I have to categorize everything or I don't feel happy, okay? It's just part of the thing. Yes, the dragons are the special interest. You found me, okay? Surprise. Why would I ever know this much about dragons if I wasn't autistic? I'll wait. Igneel dragon, yes. Igneel would be considered a fire dragon for sure. You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster. I love you, Evangeline Moonrise. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Gabriel Hoffman. Smoke dragon, I would be kind of willing to say is a hybrid between fire and air, which is why I didn't say it, right? Which is why I said smolder dragon instead, because that's like the like cherry that produces the smoke, right? Speaking of cherry, we have ember dragons, okay? We have spark dragons, yeah? It said Wales has a fire dragon. Yes, Jeanette Evans, and it would be even more willing to say that their flag, the Welsh flag that has the red dragon on it, would be, you guessed it, the fire dragon of the land. Can everyone get in touch with dragons if they try? Or just some people? Everybody can have dragons, okay? This is what I'm saying. Everybody can work with dragons, but working with dragons is not for everyone. Say it with me, friends. Everyone can work with dragons if they want to, but working with dragons is not for everyone. It's very difficult to work with dragons, especially if you are not good at being disciplined, if you're not good at facing your own bullshit, if you're not good at transforming yourself, if you would rather stay comfortable in your daily routines, if you are not willing to work on your own generational curses and trauma, if you're not willing to evolve yourself in any way possible, if you're not willing to protect what is precious and defend the people who need defending, dragons may not be for you. But what I will say is that if you found my channel today, if you did find my channel today, there are dragons watching you, okay? You can tell them to fuck off if you want. Like, if you don't want dragons in your life, that's fine. But I'm just letting you know that if you find me, dragons are trying to find you. That's kind of the way it works, okay? Is their colors also determine their traits? Rishu's here. I would say yes and no, okay? Some might say yes, some might say no, but I do have dragons that I work with that their color or their appearance is nothing like the like element that they are, or the elements they work with, right? If you ate a tomato dragon, would you die from the bacteria Pepe? Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you something. My boyfriend and I like making stupid little jokes, right? And we have this one song where it goes like, why do you touch me with bacteria? Why don't you touch me with bacteria? I don't know why. It's just catchy, okay? I know, ew. Yeah, Max and Porty. Ew. Yeah, it's really disgusting. You're right. I should probably stop. Sorry about that. Moving on, okay? Like I said, okay? So, you know, have you guys seen a fire tornado? Yeah? Fire air hybrid. But have you seen a volcano? That pure raw fire dragon energy. Okay? Yeah? Cool. Okay, and some might argue that lunar dragons are water dragons and solar dragons are fire dragons, but I'm here to tell you that lunar dragons and solar dragons would be considered planetary dragons, which are not in the elemental thing, and we're gonna get there in a second, okay? Do dragons get high? Of course they do! They're flying higher than anyone in the sky, brother, sister! Why would they not be stony baloney? I got my first dragon plushie. It's pink. Oh my gosh, I need a pink dragon so bad. Have you ever ran into a shadow dragon but then found out it was actually a level 31 dragon lord? Eric MC, thank you for the laugh. And welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Jessica Kruger, celestial dragons. Yes, that would be considered like spirit. Well, wait, what? I don't know. See, celestial dragons, Pickle Chips likes to troll me, okay? Because Pickle Chips, for those of you guys who might be new, is a celestial dragon guardian that I work with. I refer to them as Pickle Chips on the channel because I'm not allowed to share with you their real name. I worked very hard to earn access to their name, and it would be extraordinarily detrimental to my relationship with them if I shared that with you. So, Pickle Chips named themselves Pickle Chips for the channel, so you guys are, and I quote, not as intimidated, easier, like it's more easily to relate to Pickle Chips that way with that name, and also not as like scary, I guess. Feather Dragon wants you to take off that shirt. Oh, Paul, that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. She has a stream about that called POV You Started Working with Dragons Today. Yes, Rebel Child, if you want to work with dragons, please. I can just imagine a dragon smoking a joint. Speaking of a dragon smoking a joint, let me tell you something. I used to be a hella stoner. I don't smoke weed anymore because I'm a musician, I'm a singer. That's my day job, I know. Fun fact, my day job, I work in celebrity management and marketing in the music industry specifically, but like in the entertainment industry, like that's my day job, right? I find everyday talent and turn them into stars. That's what I do for the day job. But here, this is my safe space to be a geek, okay? Like stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky, my friends, okay? So with that being said, I don't smoke anymore because I'm saving my voice for my thing. I'm saving my voice for my my music, but here's the thing. Earth dragons, remember? Cannabis is a plant, okay? It's earth. That means there are cannabis dragons. Yeah. And when I worked with the spirit of the cannabis plant, it came to me as a female dragon. Little pot leaves for wings. I mean, that's just how dragons work and express themselves to me, okay? But some people don't see or experience dragons that way. Some people who work with dragons don't even believe they're like real in the spiritual sense. Some people who work with dragons, you guys, just work with dragons in the sense that they're an archetype. They're a symbol of power, right? They work with the energy of dragons, or the what's it called? Not just the energy of dragons, but just like the symbolism of them, and you know, tap into it that way. There's just so many different types of things to do, you know, when it comes to that. And like I said, your imagination is the what? Only limitation. Glad we had that conversation. So walking into the next one, air dragons, like I said, that will be up to your limitation too. That will be cloud dragons, that will be breeze dragons, that will be tornado dragons, that will be, some would say storm dragons, some would say hurricane dragons. Again, it's literally the imagination that you have in between your little ears, is your only limitation when it comes to working with different elemental types of dragons, okay? Which is why, like, you know, some people really do resonate with the 9 elements of dragons, like I mentioned earlier, the earth, air, fire, water, spirit, light, darkness, maelstrom, and chaos. A lot of people will resonate with that, and that is 100% valid, okay? But some people won't resonate with that, like I don't resonate with that, which is 100% valid. But I'm not coming on here and telling you that if you resonate with that breakdown of dragon elements that you're wrong, because you're not. It just means you have a different way of interacting with dragons than I do. And that's the cool part about this life, right? Because God forbid we all did the same thing. No one would ever want to be here because it would be so boring. Do you understand? So I digress. All right. Air dragons, breath dragons. Okay. There is a very specific dragon I work with when I'm doing my breath work. Okay. Like I said, your imagination is what? The only limitation. I promise you, please. Princess Rhaenyra of Dragonstone. Pepe, Shadea Lee. Oh my god, I gotta finish watching, what's it called? I got to make a video on the dragon symbolism in the House of Dragon because, like, there's so much good shit. And, like, also Game of Thrones too. There's just, I literally only watch those shows for the dragons. Trust. Trust. Can I just be your footstool, Jason? Thank you for your super chat. You're very sweet. Thank you for the laugh. Thank you for the laugh. No, sorry. Sorry. $2 is not going to get you there. Sorry. Is telekinesis possible? I think we live in a world of possibilities, right? So, do I know? I don't know. Sigma Riz, OMG. No, sorry. Sorry, it's going so fast. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Please do not leave. We love you, Sigma Riz. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, yeah, dude, this chat, Nightmare Fuel Studios. Who knew today was gonna attract a man? I did not know. Okay. I did not know. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if people want to be a little unhinged today. Okay. That's fine. That's fine, okay? As long as you're not being, you can be cheeky with me, but as long as you're not too freaky, okay? Okay. Rishu's here, we got a pop star dragon. Hells yeah. Which also, pop culture dragons is another entire thing. Oh my god, this video just keeps getting longer in my brain. There's just so many dragon types. I'm gonna be here for 5 hours. I literally don't even think you understand. Like, I cannot cover it all. A-hole, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Puff the magic dragon. You would be right. That would be an air dragon. Chef's kiss. Witch in the working. Hello. Hello, Witch in the working. If you are in this chat, good to see you. Oh yes, telekinesis. It's seen it firsthand. Yes, it's absolutely possible. Witch in the working. That's what I'm saying, brother. We live in a world of possibilities. Okay. Which, by the way, if you guys aren't following Witch in the working, you totally should. Fucking awesome. He's a cool kid, okay? You should sub Skrizzle, okay? It's pretty awesome. But anyway, I digress. We are going in, walking into the spirit dragons. Now, this is where things get a little bit fuzzy, okay? There is some overlap with celestial dragons, spirit dragons, cosmic dragons, planetary dragons, right? But let me do my best to draw the line for you, at least in the way that it works in my brain, okay? Because again, this is just my personal experience with different dragon types. You can literally take my whole video and yeet it out the door if you think I'm crazy. That's fair. More power to you. You should still subscribe though, because I will entertain you. You might not believe a diddly darn thing I'm saying, but I promise there will never be a dull moment in your life when you watch my content, yeah? Told you. Thank you. Good talk. So, spirit dragons. What does that look like? For example, some might argue that my dragon guardian Pickle Chips, who insists on me calling them a celestial dragon, some would consider that like a spirit dragon, right? But the reason why I'm going to slightly disagree with that is only because Pickle Chips told me, right? That is just not true. So let me draw the line. Spirit dragon would probably be in alignment with Akashic type of record dragons, right? So the spirit dragon would be the dragon that is literally probably more comparable to like that of a ghost than like that of a like a cosmic dragon, like in outer space, if that makes sense, right? So again, your imagination is the limitation here, is what Pickle Chips tells me. Like, some of you guys might like resonate with like celestial dragons being spirit dragons. Some of you guys might relate like cosmic dragons being spirit dragons. Totally valid, okay? Eric MC, I'm actually entirely sober. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Nightmare Fuel Studios just was like, just like ate you for breakfast. Sorry about that. Shout out to my mods. I already have an unhinged comment, like chat, live chat on my live streams, but without the mods, it would be 10 times worse. So leave some dragon emojis in the chat for our mods, because they are literally chef's kiss. Thank you guys. But anyway, yeah, I'm entirely sober. I know that might be hard for you to believe. But it's true. I'm high on dragons, okay? Yeah, I'm smoking with the dragons, right? Like, we be smoking air. Yeah, that I know. Hard to admit. Some might consider spirit dragons source dragons. And this is where it kind of gets really interesting. Because, you know, especially when I've studied, the more I've studied like Native Americans, or I should probably say indigenous cultures, First Nation peoples, their experience with dragons, at least the people who I've talked to on a one-on-one basis, I've talked to many people about dragons in just my lifetime, from all walks of life. It's just what I pull out at the party. I'm like, did you know dragons? Yeah, that's me at the party. So I've gotten into a lot of really interesting conversations with a bunch of different people and found out some crazy things about dragons along the way. And let me tell you, some of the indigenous people to America, or Turtle Island, as we call it, as they call it, I should say, or as we all should be calling it, because it is Turtle Island, it's not America. Good talk. Land back, good talk. They tell me that they believe more in source, right? Like that, it's not really like a god, right? Like how some people would believe in like Allah, like for Islam, like they worship Allah, right? So like for Christianity, some Christians would like see Jesus as God, right? But some people who like are like Jewish might just like work with like a monotheistic God, for example, right? But when it comes to like the First Nations, it's kind of like source energy, right? Or the Great Spirit is kind of like how they talk about it. Yes, reminder, please feed the watermelon dragons. If you have not fed the watermelon dragons, please click the link in my bio. Not my bio, I am not on Instagram. Please click the link on my channel. Wow, that's embarrassing. Click my icon, my little face right there. You see my circle face right there? Yeah, click that, click my channel, and go feed the watermelon dragons. It would really mean a lot to me, okay? Do dragons come from another dimension or planet? Christy, my guardians say that dragons come from everywhere. The universe is dragon coded. That is what my guardians tell me. Dragons are here on Earth, living and breathing, like the Komodo dragon, like your snakes, okay? Oh, air dragons. Some might argue that birds are air dragons, like raptors. Have you seen an eagle? Dragon. Have you seen a falcon? Dragon, okay? Some people might subscribe to that. I am Dragon Feather, so I absolutely subscribe to that, right? I digress. All I'm going to say is that dragons manifest themselves in any way, shape, or form in any place that you could ever experience. Most of the dragons I work with are interdimensional, right? So they are on the Earth plane, just different dimensions, like fairies, right? So like fairies are on the what? Earth plane, but they are interdimensional, right? So the difference is like, you know, some of the dragons would be like extraterrestrial, right? Like some might argue that dragons are aliens. I know that my dad does that. My dad's like, I think you're talking to aliens. Cool, Dad. That's awesome. Love that. Shout out to Dragon Father. He's the cool guy. But anyway, like, you know, some people will think, you know, that way, if you will. But what I'm going to say is that, like, it's really, again, like, your imagination is a limitation, right? Because like my guardians tell me that we can also create dragons. Have you heard of an egregore? Or have you heard of a tulpa? Right? Like you can create your own dragons too. Like this is how like intense this gets. Like there's many layers to this shit, okay? Like this is a multi-tiered cake we're talking about when it comes to dragons, okay? Fred C, what did I walk into? Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. It's so good to see you. I am a draconic witch, been practicing dragon magic for the better part of 20 years. And I'm just sharing my experience with working with dragons and the different types of dragons you can work with. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button, because even if you don't believe I am talking about dragons and I'm off my rocker, you're going to be entertained when you subscribe to this channel. So you don't want to miss out on your daily dose of dragon feather. So Moon Marjorie, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Woo! Okay, I'm excited. I'm too hyped for this chat. It's too hype in the chat today. Okay, so that's kind of like spirit. When you're talking about the spirit dragons, you're getting a little bit into like, it's a little bit more intangible, right? It's a little bit harder to put your finger on it, right? You know? So there's that. Here is that. All right. So with that being said, let's walk our way into light and darkness. Okay, so these elements would be considered, you know, some people would label light and darkness with like angels and demons type of energy, right? Is it like black magic? No black magic here. I mean, not in the way that you think, okay? Like black magic is a very much like a Hollywood term coined to demonize witches who practice things that are usually Afro-Caribbean. So for example, like voodoo, hoodoo, things like that. So that is like where the whole term black magic came from, because back in the day, Catholicism was pretty much the main form of like Christianity, and they were very much ritualistic and they very much practiced magic in Catholicism. Surprise. But that would be considered light magic, right? Right? So anyone else would be considered dark or black magic, right? That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to literal light, as in like the light that's lighting my face. Light, right? And then darkness, like when you close your eyes and you see nothing, like darkness, right? Like in the most like basic sense, okay? Some might go as far to argue light and dark matter, right? But that would be kind of going, well, that would be kind of going to space, like space dragons, you know? Space dragons, if that makes sense. Patricia Fernandez, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, let me know. Talia, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Would gargoyles count as human-made dragons because they started as statues? I would be willing to say maybe. I could see. I could totally get into that. What about gray magic? Gray magic is kind of just a term that like, it means like not like light or dark in the sense I was talking about earlier. Gray magic is called gray magic in the terms of like morally gray, right? So it's like could be bad, could be good, not really sure, up for interpretation, right? Yeah, please respect all paths here, thank you. Yes, thank you. Like we are literally, this channel, we welcome all religions on this channel, okay? That's what my dragon guardians tell me we do here, okay? The second you start saying your religion is better, or you know the truth and I'm wrong, or the second you start saying I am an evil woman, or like I must repent, or I'm a sinner, or it's blasphemous, or anything like that, that is called religious abuse. It's called what? Class? What class? Religious abuse, okay? And we don't subscribe to religious abuse on this channel. And religious abuse on this channel would also look like me silencing other people's beliefs. That is just how I personally resonate. But again, this is my channel, right? If you have a different perspective than me, you have this thing called the internet and you can make your own YouTube channel. That's the cool thing about this. So, back into the light and darkness stuff. What would that be? So for example, laser dragons. Yeah, light. That would be considered a light dragon. For those of you guys who don't know, I have videos on my channel from Laserium, if you're unfamiliar with Laserium. It's a laser light show that was created in the 60s, that was developed out here in California, which is the reason why today at all these EDM shows, all these concerts, you'll see lasers as part of the, you know, part of the performance, part of the lighting show. Yeah, part of the lighting. Lasers are what? Light. Thank you. But when I was at Laserium, I worked at Laserium for a while, but also I grew up there because my dad was a laserist, which means laser artist. He would create laser light shows and sync them to music. And the only thing that you would see in those shows is laser light. And it would be a show made out of mirrors and crystals, because the crystals would light up when you hit them with the lasers. But guess what? Lasers are different than regular light. It is active light, okay? So we're gonna get into some science. Are you ready? So light, the way that you see it from the sun, is not active light. What does that mean? There is no photons, like charged photons, right? So like the reason why laser light, when you blow smoke through it, you will see the beam, is because it is active light, which is also why laser light can start fires if it's focused enough, okay? Lasers can cut things, lasers can, you know, etch things, right? Did your dad make sharks with laser beams on their heads? No, but that would be awesome. They did have a Beatles laser show, and one of the songs in the Beatles laser show was Octopus's Garden, and my dad made like little octopus people dancing. It was really cool, really cool. Anyway, so there's that part of it, right? So when I was in Laserium, I worked a lot with laser dragons because I had a lot of access to laser light, and I had access to really high powered argon and krypton gas lasers. Now people, you cannot access these lasers unless you have very, very, very specific qualifications. I was very privileged to have access to these lasers. Nowadays, it's more easy to buy lasers, like on the internet, you know what I mean? You can literally get a little laser pointer and work with that to work with laser dragons if you're feeling called to that. But also, in that same sense, you will have like, some people might consider like sunlight dragons or moonlight dragons, light dragons. Some might consider them solar or lunar dragons. I would consider them overlapped, right? But I'm gonna say with light dragons, again, your imagination is all that is stopping you from really getting deeper, okay? Really, really, really deeper. Dragon laser eye surgery? Rebel child witchery. That would be so sick. Are you kidding me? So anyway, the lasers is like my favorite type of light dragon to work with. I am a little biased, I will admit. But you can go as far as to say like a prism dragon would also be considered a light dragon, because what do prisms do? They diffract light, okay? So any sort of thing like that, like you could literally insert any word and a dragon and it exists, because like that is just the nature of dragons. Like has been my truth with working with dragons. Your imagination's a limitation, and I will say that the rest of this video because it really truly is. The second that I started like believing people's like no, it's like this is the only way to work with this elemental dragon, like this is the like dragon ruler for this, and like this is how you do this with that dragon, and like that type of dragon doesn't exist, that's not real, but this dragon is, like that really didn't make sense, okay? No sense. That made no sense to my brain. But when I started working with my dragon guardians, like first before I took in out like external stimuli, so I'll like get my information from my dragons, sit with it, digest it, kind of like work it over in my mind and in my journals, and then I will also in that process like do research on the information I get from my guardians, because some of my dragons, looking at you pickle chips, gives me incorrect information, so I figure out the difference. Okay? Is there dragons in ancient Greece or antique Greece? Yes. We were actually talking about the dragons in Greek mythology via The First Sex by Elizabeth Gold Davis, the book that we've been reading. This is the book that we've been reading on my channel. There's a playlist called My Bible, The First Sex Book Breakdown. If you want to learn about it, please check this out, but also you don't have to just stop there. Like, keep deep diving, you guys. Like, the more you search, the more you research, the better you're gonna get at finding things. Is there a thunder dragon? Yes. I would say that would be like Maelstrom dragon, right? I think I missed that earlier in the live when I was talking about the 13 elements. There's also the element of like electricity. Some would say that like electricity is the element of light. Like I said, everything is connected, but you know, there's kind of like when I ask my dragons about like elemental dragon types, you know what I get? I get this vision of the flower of life, and every single circle in the flower of life is a different type of elemental dragon. But if you notice in the flower of life, all of the circles overlap with each other, which is the same way with dragons. All of the different elemental dragons will all overlap with each other in some way, shape, or form. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Zap Daddy, Rebel Child. I love it. I love it, darling. I love it. So that's just kind of like what I'm saying. You know, if you guys want to make fan art, go to my Instagram. It's linked in the description. Fred C, is it a religion? You mean working with dragons? Is that a religion? Or is like the Greek mythology a religion? Because Hellenism, I'm pretty sure, is a religion. But working with dragons, I would say, is not a religion, because there's no book. There's no like one true book about it. You know how like Islam has like the Quran, right? How like in order to be a Muslim, you have to believe that the Quran is the word of God. Like that's literally verbatim like how it works, right? So like there's nothing really like that for dragons. Like traditionally, like dragon magic was an oral tradition, meaning that it was passed down via word of mouth, either through the family bloodlines or through like, you know, mentor pupil type of relationships, right? So that's most of where it usually stemmed from, and unfortunately because of that, there's really no way of knowing anything, right? Our chaos dragons think, yes, we are getting there, Gabriel. You're absolutely getting there, because some would say that light dragons are dragons of order, right? And dark dragons are dragons of chaos. I used to feel that way when I was young, but now I feel like chaos and order are not really elements. They're more, in my personal experience, I know that some people will disagree with me, even some of my really close friends will disagree with me, like my dragon homies might disagree with me, and that's totally valid. Like I love that. I love that we disagree, because that is the spice of life, okay? So this is my experience, okay? My experience. I'm just a girl who follows her dragons, okay? And chaos and order, in my experience, especially the more that I study Abrahamic faiths and religions in terms of like the angel demon discussion, order and chaos really feel like biblical things, like a biblical concept, right? That might be a hot take. That's fair. That's fair. If it is, that's cool. That's just the way that I perceive it, right? I just joined. Are you saying dragons are real? Kendi, yes. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. I work with dragons in my life the way that some people would work with God or goddesses or ancestors or, you know, spirit, source, whatever, you know. They believe in that. I believe in dragons, and I'm here to let you know that you can work with them too. Everybody can, and that's kind of what we do here on this channel. So if you're interested in learning more, subscribe. And if you think I'm crazy, you should still subscribe, because you will be entertained, okay? I love dragons. Rayquaza is so cool. This one is my Rayquaza. We love Rayquaza. Rayquaza, Maelstrom dragon. Rayquaza, Maelstrom dragon. That means air, electricity, water hybrid. That's kind of like how I feel like Maelstrom is, but Maelstrom, okay, like you have like electricity as an element. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but we have like electricity as an element, but some would say like Maelstrom, you know, like but the like thunder and lightning, like it's all like it's all like Venn diagram, you know. She mainly gets downloads, but I can't answer for her, just trying to help. Oh, okay, a way of life. Yeah, I don't know. You know, we don't know. We honestly don't know on this one. Are there any books you recommend for beginners working with dragons? Christy, I am currently working on some books of my own, but until those books come out and are published, I know that people really start with Dancing with Dragons by DJ Conway. Some people don't really like it. Some people do. It's very controversial because some of the stuff in that book, she had to put in that book against her will, or the book wouldn't have been published, like the dragon script in it. But I personally started my practice with those books. It was a great tool to open my mind to working with dragons, but it is not the be-all end-all, and you don't have to work with dragons in the way that those books say, right? There's also this one book, I don't remember what the author is, but I think it's called like land, like earth, land, and sky or something like that. It's something like that. But I promise you guys, I will do a whole entire live stream just on like books for the practice. So like I can give you guys like as much as I can. Yeah, Maelstrom. Yeah. Oh, no, I think there's an E in there, no? I thought it was Malestrom. I don't know. I just don't know. I want to try and learn to work with my guardian dragons because I never have, but it kind of feels right. I'm also Wiccan, so I know how to connect with some of the things that way. Totoro. I really recommend, if you're Wiccan, I really recommend working with the DJ Conway books, because Dancing with Dragons, Mystical Dragon Magic, and I think Dragon Magic by DJ Conway, all of those books are very much like Wiccan coded. And what I mean by that is that the teachings in those books go very complementary with Wicca. Because when I first started practicing, I was a Draconic Wiccan. I was Wiccan, then I discovered dragons, then I was Draconic Wiccan, then I dropped the Wicca, became a Draconic Witch, and followed the Draconic path, and that's where I'm staying. You know what I mean? At least for now. Who knows where I'm going in the future, because I never know. I'm just a girl who follows her dragons, singing songs along the way. That's just what I do. But yeah, give me a moment, I'll find the author's name. Thank you, Nightmare Fuel Studios. Screenshotting for TV, I'm just saying hell yeah. Like witchcraft? Yes, Kendi, yes, exactly. But you don't have to like be a witch to work with dragons. Like you could be any type of religious identity, any type of spiritual practice, any type of faith to work with dragons. That might be a hot take. It might be a hot take, but I don't care, okay? Like the thing is, in this lifetime, we have this thing called what? Religious freedom, okay? Like, and maybe that is just my privileged American ass speaking from that way, but I will tell you, and this will be the hill that I will die on, everybody deserves to be able to practice their spirituality, their religion, their faith in the way that resonates with them without any outside forces telling them otherwise. The only exception to this rule is if you practicing your religion hurts other people, suppresses other people's expression, or traumatizes other people outside of you, or you force other people to convert to your way. That is the only violation of that. Okay? The only violation of that. Okay? I am so done, so sick and fucking tired of people who say, I do not deserve a seat at the table. I am unprofessional because I work with dragons. Shame on you. Shame on you. You know what's unprofessional? People who subscribe to Christianity and shame other people who aren't Christians. That is shameful. That doesn't deserve a seat at the table, okay? In any way, shape, or form, okay? You know who doesn't deserve a seat at the table? People who subscribe to certain religions and harass other people, saying you're going to hell if you don't subscribe to X, Y, and Z. That is what? Spiritual and religious abuse, okay? Which is why the hill I will die on is anyone of any faith can work with anyone or anything they want, and that's the way it is. And that's the way it is. Like I said, Kendi, I literally just gave you all of the reasons why you're wrong. So you're probably gonna cop a bat. Yep, you just got it. You just got smited. Cause yeah, no, okay? Like you can believe in your Bible. You can believe that magic is wrong. That is your prerogative. You can believe that I am a sinner for working with witchcraft and doing my dragon thing, okay? That is your prerogative. The only problem is that when you decide to walk your ass into my space and harass me about that, you are kind of an asshole. Minus the kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Goes bouncer mode and shoves the spot open. Come on. Rebel child, I love you guys. Some people can't be reasoned with no matter how reasonable you are with them. Exactly, Nightmare Fuel Studios, which is why when I work with my dragon guardians and they tell me people who are so like like conditioned into their belief systems, who aren't able to question anything outside of it and have to assert over other people who have a different view that their way is right and that you must repent and go back to their way. You have to understand that that is a situation of the blind leading the blind, okay? Like they cannot hear you because it is not their ears that are closed. It is their hearts that are closed, okay? Like they will never meet you in that space. You cannot argue with crazy. You cannot argue with crazy. Some people would say that I'm crazy, okay? But I'm actually one of the most sane people I know, all right? The only difference is that I have this thing called a creative imagination that people like literally apparently don't have. And so when I'm like, oh yeah, dragons are everywhere, they're like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, what do you mean what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Do you have a good life? Do you have a good time? Aren't you sad? Where's the magic? Where's the magic? I don't see it. You know, I don't, unless, you know, you open your mind, right? You open your mind. Offended. JK, blind mods are goat. Hell yeah, no, for real. My best friend was a very Christian woman. She'd still buy me crystals and witchy stuff. She was a saint. Exactly, Jessica Kruger. I have family like that. I have family that are like, hey, look, you know, I have no idea, like, what you're talking about on your channel. I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but I love that you're helping people, and I can see how much like it inspires people, and I think that's amazing, right? But I also have family members who aren't so nice, who are like, you are crazy, demon, devil, yeah, you know, and it's just like, damn, man, well, I'm not gonna be your friend. The fuck? Like, what? Anyway, light dragons. That was a tangent, my dear lord, okay? Light dragons. Again, your imagination is the only limitation. I would say enlightenment dragons would be considered light dragons. Illumination dragons. Dragons. Like light dragons, right? So again, it really just depends, right? The best way to work with these dragons is to enlighten yourself. Wow. What a concept. Okay, now, darkness dragons. What does that look like? Void dragons. Dark matter dragons, perhaps. Just like literal darkness dragons, right? Like the absence of light, right? Again, you know, you can consider this a shadow dragon. That might be, you know, under the umbrella of like shadow dragon, right? Excuse me, do each type of dragon have a specific look to them? Not really, Christy. Every single dragon is so different. Like, just look at 2 different types of earth dragons. One earth dragon might be covered in crystals, and one earth dragon might be covered in dirt. Each dragon's expression is very much unique to them. And Pickle Chips tells me that a dragon can change their form anytime they want. That's why they have the reputation of being a shapeshifter. And like the image of a dragon like this, you know, like the traditional, like, you know, like horned dragon, like 2 front legs, 2 hind legs, a tail, and wings would be just one of their most popular like forms that have captured the hearts of humans. Just like the Eastern dragons, you know, like the lung, you know, for example, like they have no wings. They look more like sea serpents with tiny little legs, but they fly because of the like bumps on their head. And guess what? That has captured the hearts of the people in the East. So just like the people of North America, or Turtle Island, I should say, they resonate with feathered serpent dragons like Quetzalcoatl or the Amphitheater. And that's just the form of dragons that have captured their hearts. But if you go to, say, India, you might find Rims or Naga, which are more like giant serpents or giant like worm dragons, right? But guess what? That's just the version that captured their hearts. And that's why dragons are so special, right? Like, dragons are so special because they are shapeshifters, and we really truly will never know their real forms, which is why you shouldn't really put so much value on what they look like, is what my guardians tell me, right? You know, sometimes dragons might create a persona just for you to see so you resonate with them, literally. Like, some people might not agree with that, but some people might absolutely have had that experience. Both are valid. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing I'm trying to say, is like, the second someone tries to tell you that there's only one way to work with them, there's only one way to do it, there's only this, this, and this, it's very strict, blah, 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 like, that is just giving cult energy. It's giving, I am a cult. No. Like, you can be whatever you want in this life. Do you understand me? And the only reason why you feel like you cannot work with dragons and be Muslim, or why you're like talking to like demons as a Christian, if you're trying to work with dragons or etc., the list goes on. It's just because the world is trying to condition you to believe otherwise. Because if the reality was, if you had the freedom to explore whatever you wanted in your spiritual practice, if you had the freedom to believe in God and practice witchcraft and work with dragons and work with angels and work with demons and work with your ancestors and worship the goddesses, if you worked with all of that, you would be too powerful. If everybody did that, they would be too powerful and no one would be able to control anyone. Especially the women, especially the people of color, especially the Black people, especially the indigenous people, the First Nations. You know? You know? Do griffins count as dragons? Some people might say so, some people might not. Which is literally my whole thing. Like, you know, if you go back far enough, like, some might say that mermaids are dragons because of their connection to Tiamat. You know, some people might say that phoenixes are dragons. I don't know, right? There's certain things that I just don't know. And for me, like, I don't really feel like a phoenix is a dragon. I feel like a phoenix is a bird. But at the same time, I also feel like birds are dragons. So maybe that's some cognitive dissonance in my own brain. It's a hypocritical moment in my own brain. Okay? And that's just because my brain is very much driven by the desire and need to categorize things. I don't know why. I just need to, okay? But I digress. So with the darkness dragons, the best way to connect with your darkness dragons is, you guessed it, shadow work. Wow, it's almost like that was too easy. Too easy. Anyway, moving along, metal dragons. I know that probably should have came after the earth dragons, because some would consider metal earth, because metal alloys are, yes, you guessed it, an ore of the earth, okay? And a lot of the crystals that we have, yes, you guessed it, iron, you know, like iron pyrite, for example, or tiger's iron. Yes, that has iron in it, baby. So there's just a lot of things that go into that. But I will say, in my personal practice, the metal dragons really have their own version, their own energy outside of earth dragons, right? So that would be like platinum dragon, that would be gold dragon, silver dragon, copper dragon, pewter dragon, iron dragon, steel dragon, insert any metal dragon, okay? And you can work with this. For example, remember Nightmare Fuel Studios when you were asking me if pewter is offensive? The pewter dragons will love your pewter. Just so you know. They're gonna be obsessed with that shit. They're gonna be like, yes, pewter is my life because I am a pewter dragon. Anyway. Anyway, all I'm gonna say is that, like, they do give a very different energy, right? Let's see, what guardians? Mary, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. I'm talking about dragon guardians. Think of, when I say dragon guardians, think of it in like the like Mulan sense, right? Where like Mushu was like her dragon guardian in a way. But take it a little further, take it out of the Hollywood context, okay? And we're talking about, like, you know how some people believe in like God, or people believe in goddesses, or people believe in ancestors or spirits as, like, you know, beyond the veil, or like a spiritual entity. That's how we work with dragons here. I'm a kratom dragon. I love that. I freaking love that. Titanium dragons, exactly. What religion are you, if you don't mind me asking? I don't really subscribe to a religion, but I believe in God. My dragons tell me to read the Quran, read the Bible, and read the Jewish teachings. And a lot of them, surprise, if the more you look into like Abrahamic religions, it seems like they're actually plagiarized from not Christianity. They're plagiarized from dragon creation myths. How big can dragons get? Unfathomably big. So that brings us into like kind of like Pickle Chips is a celestial dragon, right? So that means, like, when I've asked Pickle Chips about like the size, like all I've really gotten is like a visual of the Eye of God nebula. I can't even comprehend how big Pickle Chips is. Do you understand? Because celestial dragon, right? That's like space, brother. Like space is so big and I'm literally so small, my brain will never be able to understand. I just do not have, you know? This is my horned hat, the horns. I wrote a song about it because I'm a dragon, you know what I mean? How big can dragons get? Damn, yeah. And the same thing goes, like how small can a dragon get, right? Infinitesimal. Infinitesimal. You know what I mean? Yeah. What is the best dragon book? See, that is kind of like a personal choice, I would say. The only one that I really have experience with, just because there's like honestly such a lack of like knowledge about like dragons in the books. I worked with the DJ Conway books, Dancing with Dragons, Mystical Dragon Magic. There's some other ones. I will make a video about it because I've been getting a lot of questions about it in this video. But in terms of like dragon books, I really just like go learn about dragon mythology and like all over the world, right? Like I learn about like Sumerian mythology with Tiamat, or I'll learn about like Yggdrasil and the dragon around Yggdrasil. Jorminger. I can't really pronounce it very well, my bad. But like I said, there are some dragons that are closed. For example, like Quetzalcoatl, which is I believe a Mayan dragon. If it's not Mayan, it's Aztec, and my very, very, very deep bad if I'm mixing the two up, because that's incredibly offensive and high-key racist. Sorry, my bad. I know I'm not, it's not off the top of my head. But that dragon is a close practice to those people who are indigenous to those practices, because when people take dragons that are, you know, very closely connected with indigenous people and their cultures, you have to understand that when a dragon is so intertwined with the humans, and any deity, honestly, they are of each other at that point. When the humans, the indigenous people, worshipped Quetzalcoatl, they gave Quetzalcoatl power, and in return, Quetzalcoatl took care of those people, and they are of each other. Mayan and Aztec, Nahuatl both have connections to Quetzalcoatl. Thank you. That's amazing. In the Lakota origin stories, their belief, they talk about Thunder Spirit and the great big bird of thunder. Yes. Many of the indigenous people I've talked to from Turtle Island and Lakota have told me that some would say that the Thunderbird is a dragon. Very dragon energy. Do you know what I mean? But again, the overlap, and it really just depends who you're gonna talk to, right? That's terrifying, not gonna lie, in a good way. Yes, absolutely, Gabriel Hoffman. Which is why I will say that working with dragons isn't for everyone, because dragons can sometimes be very scary and very intimidating, and if you're not able to ground yourself and deal with the intimidation factor of dragons, you might revert to your preconditioned ideals about spirits or about intimidating spirits like a dragon, and you might think it's demonic, and then you might have an experience like we've seen with Dolores Cannon, or is it, no, Doreen Virtue? Which one? I think it's Doreen Virtue, where like basically she was all into the fairies, all into the mythical creatures, and then all of the sudden, boom, Christian. What happened? What happened? You gotta do your shadow work. You gotta do your shit. You know what I mean? Hello, saw your dragon types title and came to listen in. I know who I am as a dragon spirit, but never tried to figure out what dragon type I am. That's really exciting, Rothian Fairmoon. So welcome. I hope that this video will find you well then. I still want to work with them. Hells yeah, that's how I feel. Yep, our GOT. Yeah, it's Doreen Virtue. Okay, thank you for not Dolores Cannon. So sorry, Dolores, that you got tied up in this. That was my fault. I'm talking about Doreen Virtue. It's just the thing, you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pronounce that, but I'm gonna say I'm Mikamak. Did I pronounce that right? And some stories have a lot of dragons and such that we have. Totoro, that's really exciting. See, like, that's what I love to hear, because even to this day, even to this literal day in this live right now, Totoro just told me another dragon like connection to another indigenous community that I literally did not know about, which is my whole point. There's so many different types of, you know, people all over the world, communities all over the world that have dragon myths and dragon deities and dragon stories in their practices. And I noticed that as a very, very young girl. you know, and it compelled me to want to know more and keep going. You know what I mean? So now that we've kind of covered that, we're gonna kind of like do just the last little bit of these elements, right? So I mentioned briefly, you know, let's talk about the maelstrom, okay? So maelstrom, my guardian pickle chips in terms of maelstrom says that they're all kind of overlapping in terms of like electricity and maelstrom and thunder and storms, right? That's going to be like generally. But if you want to take it a step further, when I did my own like work with pickle chips trying to understand the element of maelstrom, the word that came through was plasma. Okay, so if you're not familiar with different states of matter, we have solids, we have liquids, and we have gas. But we also have another state of matter that is actually composing the most of reality, and that would be plasma. Here's another very interesting idea or take when it comes to plasma. In the ancient sky, before there was light pollution that we have with our technology of today, you could see at night all of the stars, all of the nebulas, just everything. And by what? The plasma filaments. If you are unfamiliar with the electric universe theory, I definitely recommend taking a deep dive look into it. But when I was working with pickle chips trying to understand maelstrom energy, this is kind of where pickle chips led me, was the electric universe theory and plasma, and how plasma connects everything, and how everything is connected via invisible plasma filaments, and that is confirmed through, you guessed it, quantum physics. And so with that being said, in the ancient sky, maybe the reason why so many cultures have types of dragon mythologies or dragon myths or dragon deities is because in the ancient sky, the plasma filaments that you could see throughout the nebula that we cannot see today because of the light pollution looked like dragons. I don't know. I'm just a girl who follows her dragons, right? Do dragons shrink their size when working with magicians? You know, I really just think it's a very individual experience. You know? I just think it is. I'm back, guns over. Oh my god, JK, don't abandon me again, rebel child. Yeah, today's a wild stream in this chat, holy crap. But anyway. An alpha Draco exceeds 12 meters and can weigh 15 metric tons or more. The head of an adult male alpha Draco is the size of a compact car, probably big energy body. I've never heard of alpha Draco. That is new to me. My guardians and see, this is I'm not like invalidating you, right? Because like you're entitled to your experience with dragons, like that's none of my business, right? But like in my personal experience, like dragons like don't really have like a hierarchy. There is no dragon order or like civilization or like law or like code of conduct, and there is no specific okay, the only time that like you can specifically assign qualities and like true details to a dragon is when it comes to like the dragons in mythology or the dragon gods that you might see throughout the ancient world. So for example, like Tiamat or Epsu, right? Like those, you can have different types of things associated with them, right? Like Tiamat, she's the saltwater dragon. Epsu, the freshwater one, right? Like those are different qualities, right? But like when it comes to like just dragons in general, like there are like, again, like terms to identify them. For example, like a Tika would be considered a very tiny dragon, or a Tasur would be considered a very ancient dragon, for example. But some people don't subscribe to that version of working with dragons. That's totally valid, okay? The point is that everybody needs to understand that it's all subjective when you work with dragons. But so is religion, okay? Like so is spirituality, so is faith, okay? Like two Christians aren't gonna believe in God the same way. One Christian might believe that Jesus is God, and the other Christian might believe that Jesus is a prophet of God. They're both Christians, both valid. They're allowed to believe whatever they want, right? Like again, two Muslims might believe in Allah and worship Allah differently. valid, okay? Like, it's valid. You know what I mean? Like, last time I checked in those religions anyway, God is the only one who can judge, so why the hell are you judging me in my comment section? Why the hell are you judging other Christians? Like, weirdos. They're a bunch of fucking weirdos, okay? Like, you know, like, I'm just gonna leave that one to you guys, okay? But I digress. Anyway, moving on with the, like, maelstrom stuff. This would be like your hurricane dragons, if you will. It would be your like like a hurricane is like honestly like the most physical representation of a maelstrom that you can get, right? At least in my eyes. Maybe not yours. Mine, that's how I see it. And so that would like electricity dragons, thunder dragons, lightning dragons, excuse me, storm dragons, anything, literally anything like that, right? Some would consider like any form of weather to be maelstrom, but like, again, I think that like weather, like patterns is like predominantly an air elemental, but it has qualities of like maelstrom and qualities of water, right? So it really just depends, you know what I mean? And then like love being an element, okay? We talked about this. The only reason why I have this perspective is because I work with a fairy dragon guardian who I call Rosie. You can click my video called Love is an Element. It was a stream that I did, I don't know if it was like 2 streams ago, I think, and we talk about how love is an element. Okay, so you have like love dragons too, and I know that might seem strange to some people, like what does a love dragon look like, a bunch of pink hearts? Like, no, that is literally such a Hollywood concept of love. I'm talking about the energy of love, right? So that would be the energy that brings just humans together, connection, right? That is the energy of unity. That is the energy of what's the word, connection. That is the energy of life. It is the energy of creation. It is the energy of sex. It is the energy of passion. That is all in the umbrella of love, okay? What is a fairy dragon? A fairy dragon is like a hybrid between a dragon and a fairy. Not like a Hollywood fairy though, if that makes sense. Like a fae, like F-A-E-I-R-Y, right? Friendship, yes, exactly. I have a video on fairy dragons, so if you're interested, it's like one of my main uploads. I have a video all about fairy dragons if you're interested in learning a little bit more about them. But fairy dragons are kind of like bringing us into our next category of dragon types, so we'll get there in a second. But like the whole love situation, like I would consider Rosie, the fairy dragon that I work with, a love elemental. I don't consider her a fairy or a dragon like elemental, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense, but okay. I just consider her like a love elemental, sometimes maybe a light elemental, but she mostly works with me with like the element of love and the element of passion and the element of life and the element of like sex and stuff like that, creation, you know? I say Alpha Dracos because place of origin and galaxy. In the galaxy, Alpha Draconis for the dragons. Oh, are you talking about the constellation? Is time an element? No. And I will tell you why in a second. So some might say, like, yes, you can have time guardians. So like, or time dragons, okay? I'm so happy you brought that up, Gabriel, because I fucking love this. Some might consider spirit dragons would be, time guardians would fall under the spirit dragon, right? So thank you for reminding me because I almost forgot. And Pickle Chips, as a celestial dragon, like I'd like talk to him about like time and stuff like that, but time is really just the expression of now moments in sequence, right? Like over a period, right? So that's like what it is, right? So the now moment is a point, okay? And the next moment is a point. And the time is the line between the 2 points, not an element. Does that make sense? At least that's the way that I work with them. And that's the way I like conceptualize it, right? So like when I work with time guardians, for example, because I work with time guardians, and I work with time guardians mostly to manage my time and to prolong my time. And time is very subjective. It is a human construct or a measurement. It's a tool of measurement, right? But some would argue that time is God. So again, it really just depends. The doctor is a dragon, Jessica Kruger. Literally. We do. Scroll on, pal. Have a day. Yeah, Rebel Child. Thank you. Vex Hyper, good to see you. Welcome back to your Daily Dose of Dragon Feather. It's 5:14 where I'm at. Well, that's pretty insane, actually. That's a lot earlier than where it is here. So yeah, I guess you could say, you know, some people might perceive time as an element, totally valid, right? But in my experience, time is more a unit of measure than an element, if that makes sense. But time still has an energy to it. Do you know what I mean? Some people say time is an illusion. I am one of those people. Time is an illusion. All you have is right here, right now, baby. Which is why I say time is a form of measurement, because we use time to measure the now moment. Ooh, we're getting into some very complex thinking, okay? Very complex, okay? So I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this video, all right? We covered the elementals. We covered the elemental dragons. And I know I missed some because I said again, and I'll say it again, I literally could talk about this for the rest of my life, dragon types, and I would still not cover every single one. Because what? Yes, your imagination is the limitation. So I'm sure at some point in time, I will do a more deep dive on each individual one, so we can really just try and break this down as much as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to take a quick little intermission, okay? Gonna go to the bathroom, we're gonna come back. And when I come back, what I'm gonna say is we're going to work with our dragon archetypes, okay? So dragon archetypes would be like dragons like the Hydra, dragons like the Ouroboros, dragons like the Amphitheater, dragons like Wyverns. And so when we get back, we'll get into that. So please hold on. He will keep you entertained while I'm gone, okay? You guys, please, he is the star of the show, all right? He will tell you everything you need to know, all right? Please ask him questions. He's very, very talkative, all right? I will be right back, and I'll see you soon. All right, I am back. Did you guys ask him some questions? What did he say? Did he have a lot to tell you guys? I'm pretty sure he had a lot to tell you guys. I know, he's super talkative. I know, Rayquarzar just has so much to say, it's kind of insane. Who would have thought Rayquarzar could say so much? But anyway, hold on. Your thoughts on global warming, Rayquarzar? You guys are so funny. I love you guys so much. Not gonna lie, but dolls frightened me in Game Room. I'm sorry. Well, some people call me a doll. Do I frighten you? Boo. No, I'm just kidding. Let me stop. Okay, because I think dolls are haunted. Hell yeah. I actually low-key want to collect haunted dolls, but my boyfriend won't let me. And you know what? Valid. I totally... My boyfriend won't let me collect haunted dolls. And that's probably for the best, honestly. He's like, Azura, weirdo. No. I'm like, why not? Anyway, yeah. Then I'll follow you on TikTok, Rebel Child. You seem so cool. Hell yeah. No, I love Rebel Child's content. Okay, we're back. All right, part 2. Dragon archetypes, okay? We might have some overlap with dragon hybrids here too. but we're gonna try and just stick to dragon archetypes and then go into the dragon hybrids. So dragon archetypes, what does that mean, right? So this would pretty much be like removing the elemental. We went through all the dragon elemental types, okay? We been there, done that, cool. But now we're talking about the like archetypes of a dragon. So remember earlier when I said dragon is like the umbrella term, and you have things like Rim, you have like Amphitheater, you have like Wyvern, you have Drake, you have you know, what's it called? Wow, I can't think of it. Rim, I think I already said that. You know, like all of those are rims related to dragons? Yes, literally. So all of those would be considered types of dragons, right? But not in the elemental sense. They're more like variations of like, I guess like the physical look of a dragon, right? But you know, like you have like the serpents, for example, that have like no legs, right? But then you have rims, which usually have 2 legs. Some depictions of rims actually have no legs, and some depictions of rims will have wings too. But it really just depends, right? So then you have amphitheaters, which are feathered serpents that have wings, usually. Some of them don't have wings, but all of them pretty much fly, at least in my understanding of them. I could be wrong though. Like I said, I am in no way an expert at this shit. Okay, like the more I learn, the more I realize I'll never know anything. That's the way it works when you work with dragons. Okay, the more you learn when you work with dragons, the more you realize you won't know diddly squat. I pronounce them as rims. You can pronounce them as worms. That makes me cringe a little, so I'm gonna call them rims. But that's just me. That's just me, Gabriel. You know what? Where I live, it's 1:20 a.m. right now. I really need to go to sleep because I gotta wake up at 5:30. Oh my gosh, Totoro. Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you enjoyed your daily dose of Dragon Feather, and we'll see you soon. Not the worms. No, anything but the worms. Look at him. Not the worms. Not the worms. Sorry. But seriously, we're calling them rims, okay? So then you could take that a little bit further. You have the Hydra, which is gonna be a dragon with multiple heads. Traditionally, you're gonna get the dragon with 5 heads, right? But some people will consider a Hydra 2 heads, 3 heads. It really is just a dragon with multiple heads. That is what a Hydra is. The most common the most commonly known story of the Hydra is the one with Hercules slaying the Hydra, cutting its heads off, it grows back more heads. Yeah, that's cool. We love that. It's a really cool concept. All right, and then you have the Ouroboros, which is the dragon eating its own tail, right? Some might argue the Leviathan would be in this category as like a type of like dragon that way, but I'm gonna say like Leviathan is gonna be more like a dragon under the category of like dragon deity, only because the Leviathan is specifically mentioned in mythology in the sense of it being like there was only 2 Leviathans, right? There was like a male and a female Leviathan, but some myths say that there were 2 female Leviathans. Okay, so it really just depends on where you're looking, because there's overlap and weird things everywhere. You know, you literally just never know. Hold on, I don't know. I had the need to do that. I don't know why. Intrusive thought. So yeah, basically, these dragons are just like a physical expression type of dragon, right? So like some dragons might look like they have 6 legs, right? I don't exactly know what I would call that. But for example, you guys know Pokemon, literally Pokemon. You know Giratina? It's like the dragon of the distortion world, or the dark matter dragon. It's like physical form has like 6 legs and 2 wings. But like in the distortion world, it's like a serpent that has like shadowy wings and like spikes for legs, right? That is kind of like what I'm referencing in terms of like dragons with more than just 4 legs, right? Because again, there's all different kinds of dragons whenever you look at wherever you look. Like it's just the way it is. And my first introduction to this category of dragon types was via the Dragonology books. Back in the day when I was a little child, they had like a map of the earth, and then they had like, you know, the European dragon, and then they had like the Asian dragon, and then they had like, you know, the amphitheater, and they had the rims and all of that. And like that was kind of like my first exposure to that, right? I think tomorrow after work I'm gonna try to learn about how to connect with my dragon. Anyways, I gotta go now. Bye. Yay, Totoro. I wish you all the luck. You know, wishing you all the luck on your dragon journey. It is truly the journey of a lifetime. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. So yeah, and like that's just really like this type of category, right? It's just like genuinely like a form-based one, right? Really not that serious. Like some people will be like, wyverns aren't dragons. And I'm just like, yes, the fuck they are. They're a type of dragon. And you can go as far down the line as saying like, you know, like we were talking earlier today, like lizards, snakes, and reptiles, I would consider dragons. And I would also consider turtles dragons. And we'll get into that when we tap into the dragon hybrids in a second. But like anything you can think of, you can add dragon to the end of it and you can work with it. Like that's the way that it is with dragons, because again, it's just your imagination. You know what I mean? Cats, yeah, you can have a cat dragon. I mean, my dragon guardians tell me that cats are dragons. I don't know. I can just imagine some dragons look like toothless. Of course, why would they not? Pizza dragon. Oh, we will cover that shit in the miscellaneous. Imagine a cow dragon. Surprise, Emily, if you look into mythology, a lot of the stuff in, for example, the Quran that is against idol worship of the cow has ties with worshiping a dragon goddess. Yeah. Emily, cow dragon isn't so weird. It really isn't so weird. Dragon fruit dragon? LOL. Yeah, you know what? Christy, let me just do some fan service for you for a second. Okay? Let me find him. Let me find him. Hold on. I know he's here somewhere. Here's dragon fruit dragon. Isn't it cute? I love him. Oh my gosh. It would be considered an earth dragon. Oh no, we're in the darkness. We're in the darkness. Okay. Welcome back. Okay, that was fun. My thing fell and killed us for a second, but we're back. That was a little intense, okay. I need to have that deck. It is called, hold on, I dropped the thing. It is, my horns, they're everywhere. It's called Field Guide to Garden Dragons. It's honestly one of my favorite decks. It's so much fun. I never tried dragon fruit. Actually, I'm gonna let you know right now, doesn't really taste like much. So don't get your hopes up too high, because they really don't, okay? But anyway, I feel like I'm missing some dragon types in terms of like the forms that they have. Oh wait, I put this back wrong. Cause like I just like there's just so many things to cover, right? But this is why like I just wanted to make this video as like an overall basic like crash course in dragon types, right? At least in the sense that I work with them. And like we're just going through like the different types of dragons in parts and like categorizing them in parts. And then I definitely want to go back into each part. Like, you know how we had part 1 was the elemental dragons? I definitely want to go back and do a live stream just on elemental dragons, and then just on like dragon forms, which is the one that we're talking about right now, and then dragon hybrids and dragon deities and miscellaneous dragons and pop culture dragons. We're going to get to all of it because that's just what we do here. We're obsessed with dragons. We can't go back. We can't go back. I don't know. We're so deep into this. I have tried pomegranate seeds. They are awesome. I love pomegranate seeds. Holy crap. What card deck is this? It's called Field Guides to Garden Dragons. I love it. It's truly an addiction. And they're so adorable. There's a mushroom dragon and a watermelon dragon, and oh my gosh, I can't breathe. It's so cute. Okay. I digress. That's pretty much all I have for the dragon forms. Mostly because it's just pretty straightforward. you know? But like I said, if you look up, like if you go to Google and you just look up dragon forms, or look up like different types of dragons, like you can also just like deep dive into that, right? The avocado dragon is my favorite. I love the avocado dragon Vexivor, so adorable. So then there's that. So that's kind of like the end of part 2. But like I said, I will be at a later date jumping into all of these parts in their own video so we can do an even deeper dive. And then I'm going to do an even deeper dive on each type, because that's just the way that it is. You can just keep going with this, right? Like that, you just can keep going. That's the best part. Some myths say that dragon fruit were brought from the home realm of the dragons. I love that. I needed that. Cheers. I needed that today. But we are going into part 3 now, which is going to be dragon hybrids. Probably the most common, the most popular dragon hybrid that is on this channel anyway is a fairy dragon, which is a hybrid between fairy or fae and dragons. And like this would be considered, some of them would be considered like very tiny. Like they would look like butterfly wings, dragonfly wings. Some would even consider certain types of insects fairy dragons. So for example, some would consider dragonflies fairy dragons, valid, very accurate to a physical type of dragon, excuse me, a physical type of fairy dragon. But the fairy dragon that I work with is not just small. She again can make herself as big as she wants, whatever. For the most part, she appears to me about the size of this. She hangs out on my shoulder, okay? That's what Rosie does, all right? But not everybody will resonate with fairy dragons that way. Some people will resonate with fairy dragons as giants because, surprise, some of the fae are actually giants. I know, very, very interesting. Some of the fae are actually, you guessed it, little people. I know, very, very interesting. And if you really want to get super confused, if you learn about the Tuatha De Danann, they might actually have been a race of people that have been mythologized over time to what? Take their power away. Or they could be a type of fairy race that no longer is in our realm. Will I know? Probably not, but I'm just a girl who follows her dragons and I'm sharing my experience with you. That's just what we do here, right? So again, with the hybrid dragons, you can really take this as far as you want to. You can have, one of my other favorite hybrid dragons is the turtle dragon or the dragon turtle, okay? Beautiful. Have you guys heard of Turtle Island? America's Turtle Island, arguably a giant dragon turtle. But I digress. If you look up snapping turtles, that is a dragon. I will die on that hill. A snapping turtle, dragon turtle. I will literally die on that hill. Okay? Yeah, turtles, for real. Leave me some turtle emojis if you're obsessed. Reminds me of the island from Avatar. Exactly, Emily. That's exactly what it is. And the reason why in Avatar they're called lion turtles is because they already had the dragons be the masters of firebending. Otherwise it would have been a dragon turtle. But dragon turtle, lion turtles are very much similar. You know what I mean? There's a snapping turtle living in the kind on my backyard. Oh my gosh, snapping turtles are so scary though, like for real. But like, anyway, you can literally mix anything with the dragon. So for example, we have chimeras. That would be considered a dragon hybrid, okay? Chimera, which is traditionally lion head, goat head, dragon head, and a snake tail. I think there's some other versions of it too. Some of them have lion head, goat head, and something else. Was it an eagle head? I don't remember, but like either way there's dragons involved, okay? So that just means that it's like a chimera wouldn't like be considered like purely a dragon, but it is like a dragon hybrid. Do you know what I mean? You following? You picking up what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? What about that water Pokemon that looks like a dragon with a shell. Squirtle? Are you talking about Lapras? Dragon. Lapras? Dragon. Should have been dragon type. I know they made Lapras water ice type. Lapras should have been water dragon type, okay? I will die on that hill. Thank you. I just Googled them. My God, it's intimidating. I'm gonna respectfully and supervise gonna pet it. Oh my God. No, the Pokemon that looks like Nessie. Which one? Do you mean Gyarados? I can play this game with you, Gabriel. I actually know a lot of dragons. I mean, excuse me, I know a lot of Pokemon. I need to study my Pokemon. Yeah, that was honestly Drampa. I love Drampa. There's also Tortuga, which is like that like turtle one, but it's a fossil Pokemon, I think. You also have, what's it called? There's Rayquaza, super. You know what I mean? Does it look like a weird slug with blue or pink colors? I love this. I love that we're trying to play like Pokemon charades. It's so much fun. But yeah, I actually know this one, but forgot the name. Imagine Nessie, but its back is a turtle shell. I literally thought it was fucking Lapras. Gordron? Who's that Pokemon? You guys are so funny. I'm dying. I'm literally dying. Okay, so more dragon hybrids before I literally forget. So, for example, when you mix a dragon with a lion, what do you get? A manticore. Am I thinking of that right? Hold on. Is a manticore a bull? Hold on. I know it starts with an M. I just have to double check. Double check my facts. Okay. I'm not trying to misinform the hatchlings. Okay, that'd be really depressing. Okay, I'm not trying to do that. Do you understand? Okay, let me stop. That was disgusting. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Let's see. I'm pretty sure Manticore. Okay. Manticore. Yes, Manticore. I was correct. It is in Persian mythology, and it's similar to the Egyptian Sphinx, okay? So that brings me to the next hybrid, which is the Sphinx. The Sphinx will be a lion, dragon, human, woman hybrid, okay? Love these things, okay? Love these things. All of these in mythology, you will find that a lot of these mythical creatures will have a little touch of what, you guessed it, dragonness energy. They will. They just will. Okay, and you can insert any animal plus dragon and you got a hybrid, right? So you also have, like, there's also the hybrid of dragons and dogs. I forget exactly what it's called. I know it's not a hellhound, that's not it exactly, but dragon dog hybrid, let's find out. It's just giving me Dungeons and Dragons stuff, which is pretty much normal what I get when it comes to looking this kind of thing up. But I know that there is like a specific mythological creature that is a dragon dog hybrid. It is escaping me right now, so I really do apologize for that. But like I said, this is why, like, this is just kind of like a basic like intro crash course into dragon types, and we're gonna like go into it deeply in other videos, right? What about the three-headed dog from Harry Potter? That is Cerberus and not a dragon, okay? Some would consider maybe Hydra, right? Like, it's giving Hydra, right? But it's actually just big doggy. Bark, bark, right? So some people might genuinely think everything's a dragon. That is valid too. You can think whatever you want. That's the cool thing about this world. Who's gonna stop you? Who's gonna stop you? So, you know, technically I'm not allowed to go live without clothes on, but I could. Am I gonna do that? No. That would be a violation of the guidelines, but that, I'm just using that example to prove my point. I can do whatever I want. And so can you. Right? Cool. Good talk. Then you have the dragon and bird hybrids. My particular favorite. Hence dragon feather. That's when you get the feathered serpents, right? So some would call him Quetzalcoatl, some would call him Amphitheater, some would call him Thunderbird, some might call him the Phoenix. It really just depends who you are. Griffin, and if you look into the mythology of the griffin, it really just insists that it is a eagle-lion hybrid. But for those of you guys who are like me, who relate any sort of birds being dragons, then yes, that could arguably be a dragon too. Again, it just really depends on how you look at things, right? Like, that's just what it is in this world. You can look at things however you want, okay? You really can. And like, no one's stopping you except your fear or your conditioning. And chances are, if you have access to internet, you have access to practicing religious freedom, especially if you are an adult. You know, sometimes if you're a child, you know, living under the roof of your parents, your limitations might be there might be some limitations on your religious, spiritual, faith-based expression, right? However, if you live in a place that gives you access to the internet, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, you can probably practice what you want. That's not always the case. I'm going to say that's not always the case. It's a very privileged thing to say that is always the case if you have internet. It is not. But I'm saying that if you have access to internet, you're closer to being able to do whatever you want than you really truly think. Okay? The only thing that is that block in your way from really practicing and believing what you want is just everyone else around you, the conditioning around you, the context in which you grew up, and your community. That's it. That's it. Otherwise, the world is your ocean. You can do whatever you like. Okay? That's just reality. Okay? So, like I said, insert anything plus dragon, you get a dragon hybrid. Okay? I will never, ever be able to cover every single dragon hybrid in one video of all the dragon types. I would literally be here for 24 hours if I was doing a stream like that. But for today, I just wanted to give you those kinds of examples to showcase some dragon hybrids, right? So I think we should move into part 4, which is going to be the dragon deities. Number 1 is Tiamat, the Sumerian creation dragon god, okay? There's also Epsu, which is also a Sumerian god, which is considered Tiamat's mate or like husband pair. And these are just the dragons that created Earth and humanity, okay? According to ancient Sumerian mythology in the Enuma Elish, right? But there's going to be other types of dragons too that are considered deities. So, for example, you have, I'm going to try my best to say this, but it's from Norse mythology. Eating and gnawing at the roots of Yggdrasil, we have Jorminger. Damn it. I don't know how to spell it, but I should probably spell it for you, at the very least. Dragon, Norse mythology, because I can't spell. Oh, maybe I spelled it wrong. It's not Jorminger, it's Nidog. Really sorry, I don't speak this language. This is how it's spelled. Oh, you cannot read that. I'm pretty sure my screen might be reversed. But this is a Norse dragon. Okay? Okay? Jormungandr. Thank you. Yes, so Jormungandr is also in Norse mythology, but then you have Nithog, and then you have Fafnir, which is why, like, the elemental dragon guardians, when I was referring to the fire dragon guardian as Fafnir, I kind of slowly stopped resonating with that because I learned that there is a Fafnir in Norse mythology. Okay? So if you look into all of these mythologies throughout the world, you will find dragons that have names, that have been worshipped, that even have had temples throughout ancient human history, and some even still today. For example, we talked about them earlier, but our favorite feathered serpent god that you can't work with unless you were born in the area or to the people is Quetzalcoatl, right? That is another dragon deity, for example. I personally do not know all the dragon deities. That is where Pickle Chips wants me to take my next journey. You know what I mean? And if you guys have any deities you'd like to shout out, let me know. Because there's just so many of them that, of course, unless I literally have a literal encyclopedia in front of me, I'm gonna forget them sometimes. But I digress. Let's see. What does it say, my friends? The internet is a fun place. Just kind of like trying to like fact check myself for as an example. We have, like we said, Tiamat. You also have Bahamut, which is another one. There is a what's it called? A dragon in Egyptian mythology. Of course, I don't remember the name, so let me just pull it up. Egyptin. Let's see. Apep. So there's Apep, which is another dragon god. Okay, that would be a more serpent type of god. It's considered like a dragon demon, also known as Apophis in Greece. So there is a lot of that. So let's see. It also says that, yeah, so the dragon god Apep was literally like the embodiment of chaos, which is like the nemesis of Ma'at, which was like the goddess of order. So there's a lot, okay? There's a lot. Just trying to see. There are gonna probably be a lot that I miss in here, but I am gonna do my best. So I'm curious. What are some Middle Eastern dragons? Let's find out. Yeah, so a lot of the Middle Eastern dragons are going to take you to Babylon, which is going to be Tiamat, okay? So there's literally just, like, please, like, keep going. Do your own research, right? That's the whole point of this experience, is to keep going and keep looking and keep understanding. The world serpent, yes, absolutely. They be everywhere, man. They be everywhere, exactly. I think it's funny how a ton of people can't pronounce Thor's hammer. I don't actually, does the hammer have a name? I didn't know. Another cool dragon deity is Kukulkan. Okay, I'm gonna pull that up. Thank you for shouting out our dragon homie, Kukulkan. Yes, the feathered serpent. In Mesoamerican religions, it's another name for Quetzalcoatl. I mean, I guess. I don't know how accurate Google is sometimes. But yeah. Yes, it is closely related to the Q apostrophe UQ apostrophe UMATZ of the K apostrophe ICHE apostrophe people. Interesting. Thank you for shouting them out. We love them. We love them very much. Let's see. Thor's hammer is named, yeah, I cannot pronounce that. I can pronounce that. Watch. I'm gonna pretend I can pronounce that using Google as a cheat code. Thor's hammer. How do you pronounce it, my friend? Isn't it Mjolnir? Mjolnir? Did I get that right? Oh, I promise I didn't cheat, Nightmare. I just saw it. There was nothing on my screen. I promise. Look, I figured it out. I'm proud of myself. Look, it doesn't say anywhere. It doesn't say Mjolnir anywhere. It doesn't, okay? I promise. But I can't lie, I kind of cheated because I have a feeling that I pulled the name of the hammer out of my archive of watching Sword Art Online. They have like an arc where there's like an Alfheim arc where it's all about Norse mythology, and they had to fight Odin, and they pulled out Mjolnir from the treasure to beat them. A spoiler, I'm sorry. Sword Art Online is one of the best animes in my opinion, so I definitely recommend watching it. I don't think Thor has a hamster. Not the hamster. So yeah, basically when it comes to like dragon types in terms of deities, you know, they're a little bit more complex than like just elemental dragons or just like forms of dragons or like dragon hybrids, right? They're going to be more personified, have more of a personality, more of an identity, more of a presence, in like not more of a presence, but more of a focused energy on who they are. you're gonna get a very different energy working with Tiamat than you are just a standard earth dragon. Doesn't mean one is better than the other, it just means that it's just different. Kirito is badass. I love Kirito. And I love how Asuna's name is so fucking close to my name. Excuse me? You know, like that's amazing. Like I love that anime so much. Truly my childhood right there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say for the dragon deities part of this video, because again, there's just so many dragon deities. We'll definitely get into it in a future episode, but this is just kind of this episode today is just kind of an overview of just like what constitutes different types of dragons and just really how like deep and intense it can get, right? Like, and just there's just so much. There's just so many layers to this, right? But like, I digress. Out of all of the dragon deities, Tiamat is my favorite. We love her. Some would consider Leviathan also a dragon deity. But from Judaism, Judeo-Christian mythology, I should say. I like this anime a lot, which is called Classroom of the Elite. Oh, I don't know if I've heard of it, but I definitely will watch it. One of my favorite like classroom animes is Assassination Classroom. I might have to go rewatch that anime. You know, we should totally do a live stream talking about just dragons and anime, because I could go on forever, okay? I really could. Which, actually, speaking of types of dragon, let's talk about pop culture dragons, okay? Because that's the next type of dragon that a lot of people actually do work with. For those who are unfamiliar with pop culture, witchcraft, or magic, that means taking things or symbols or I guess you could say mythologies in pop culture. So for example, one of the most common things that is done is like for Dungeons and Dragons, some people will work with certain dragons from Dungeons and Dragons in their pop culture witchcraft. Some people will work with dragons from pop culture in their witchcraft, for example, like Rayquaza. There's people out there who work with Rayquaza spiritually, and I know that might be weird for you, but guess what? It's valid, okay? Any way anyone connects to the divine, any way anyone can create a spiritual experience for themselves is valid and part of the human experience. And that is why I will die on the hill, okay? Okay, thank you. That's Pistachio's middle name. Leviathan, oh my gosh. But basically, like, this would entail like Charizard, or it would entail like, you know, Haku from Spirited Away, or like Smog from, you know, what's it called? The Hobbit, or it would be, you know, Saphira from Aragon, or it would be, oh, I don't know, like literally the dragons from Game of Thrones, you know what I mean? Like if you want to work with Cyrax, fuck it, you know what I mean? Like you can work with dragons in pop culture, okay? Like, and it doesn't have to be just like those kinds. It can be like the dragons that you find in your games. You know, you can work with Spyro, you can work with Igneel, you can work with those ones, you know? Like, sometimes people just connect better that way, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I know so many people who have a practice of pop culture witchcraft. One of my favorite practices is doing pop culture witchcraft. One of my favorite animes of all time is literally, Fairy Tale, and they have like Dragon Slayer magicians in there, but the Dragon Slayer magic was taught to a bunch of these Dragon Slayer magicians by the dragons themselves. And so I will work with, you know, sometimes I'll work with Natsu in my practice to, you know, get me all fired up, you know what I mean? And that's totally valid. Okay, anyone can work with whatever they want in their practice. Like, that is the whole point of this life, is to explore, to have fun, to create an experience for yourself, and to learn along the way. And anyone else who tries to suppress you from doing that are trying to take your life away, literally. When people tell you you can't work with certain things, they're taking your life away. Because wherever your intuition, wherever your spirit, wherever your heart is pointing you to go, that is where you are meant to be. Do you understand me? Valid. No one should ever stop you from that. Okay? Nobody. It's fuckery. You know? But I digress, you know? And then that's kind of like, I guess, part 5, you know, is just the pop culture dragons, and you can literally work with any of the dragons in pop culture that you resonate with. Knock yourself out. You know what I mean? Some people might feel cringy doing that. Some people might make fun of you for doing that. But it's only because our society is so conditioned to being laser focused in one type of religious space or one type of spiritual expression, and it's suffocating. It's suffocating, you know? One size does not fit all. You are a dragon. Be a dragon. Exactly, Rebel Child Witchery. That was my favorite quote from Game of Thrones. Thank you, Lady Olenna. She was more of a dragon than Khaleesi was in that last one. Sorry, it was a man who wrote her. That was the problem. Did I say that? Who said that? Who said that? Holy crap, who said that? It wasn't me. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. He said it. He said I didn't. No, but seriously, you are a dragon, be a dragon. I literally live my life by that all the time. Rebel, it's so valid. But this brings me into my next type of, like, part 6 of this whole thing, which is, you guessed it, dragons you create. You can create dragons. They are a type of dragon. They are a type of egregor or a type of tulpa, okay? You are able to create your own dragon guardians. I know that might seem a little intense for some people, okay? But it is true. Some people create their own spirit guides. Some people they do. All of it is cool. You can get as kooky and wacky and woo-woo as you want. That is the fun of this planet, okay? You get to explore and experience and express whatever the fuck you want. You can create a dragon for yourself. And spoiler alert, eventually on this channel, Pickle Chips wants us to create a dragon guardian together. I am not ready for that. You guys are not ready for that. Pickle Chips says we're not ready for that, but we're working up to it through the Daily Dose of Dragon Feather, through the Hatchling clan, through working with each other every day, through building our community, through dragons, but that is part of it, right? You are able to do whatever you want, okay? You can make them. All right, you can, and it's fine, and it's cool, and it's jiggy. Get jiggy with it, you know what I mean? Like, you're able to do whatever you want, okay? Like, for example, I have created dragon guardians for the home. Cool. You can do that too. The dragon we make better be purple. Oh my god, that's hilarious. You know, I just don't even know. What does it say? Na 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 na. Sorry, not sorry. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey, dragonfly. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey, dragonfly. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. That was too much. That was too much. Okay, so. Yes, if you're unfamiliar with egregores or tulpas, I do dearly recommend you do a deep dive on that. I do not have a video about them, but I would be more than happy to make one. It's just that of course, my take on tulpas and egregores will be a very dragon-based one because that's the only way I work with them is via dragons, okay? So I digress. And last but not least, part 7 or 8, I don't know what part we're on anymore. I think it's part 7, but we have the miscellaneous dragon category. And this is literally just as far as your imagination can go. And where this part of dragon work started for me, I'm gonna get a little vulnerable with you guys. I'm actually going to share a very, very big part of my practice that I have kept a secret for the majority of my craft, okay? Never talked about it before because I wasn't supposed to, but my guardian says I'm ready now, so I'm ready to share with you guys. Are you excited? So this part of dragon types came to my conscious awareness when I was starting to go down my health journey of becoming better at taking care of my body, and especially in recovering from trauma, learning how to regulate my nervous system. And these types of dragons are dragons of the body, okay? So, you know, I didn't mention in this video, but there are these things called dragon ley lines all over the planet, or Earth, I should say. And you can have, these ley lines are essentially just winding streams of energy throughout the Earth. Some of these ley lines will intersect with each other, right? And that will create very magical energy. I am not too very familiar with ley lines. the information I know about ley lines is mostly intuitive, so you can take it with a grain of salt, but I am learning still more about the dragon ley lines. But the reason why I mention the dragon ley lines in this particular context is because I'm talking about working with dragons of the body. Yes, you heard me correctly, dragons of the body. That means eye dragons, skin dragons, heart dragons, lung dragons, bone dragons, blood dragons, nervous system dragons, lymphatic system dragons. I could go on, stomach dragons, intestinal dragons. Those literally, okay, like let me cook, okay, let me cook, okay? When I was womb dragons, yes, let me cook, okay? I have a lot of chronic health issues. Do you understand me? And the only way sometimes that I can cope with my chronic health issues is by calling upon the dragons of the body to give me relief. I might cry, okay? This is a very, very personal practice of mine that I didn't think I was ever gonna share with the hatchlings, but my guardians want me to share with you, so that's the only reason why I'm sharing it with you. Because they said you guys might need it too. Yes, Rebel Child, thank you, Azura's guardians, I needed that, yes. Exactly, what does it say? With ley lines, think of the streams of magic energies between Earth's chakra points. Thank you. That's a really good explanation, Rothian. Fair Moon, chef's kiss. I'm trying not to cry over here. Yeah, Rebel Child. So let me bring it on a little bit more. So this might be a little controversial, but we have penis dragons and vagina dragons. I know. Let me cook, okay? So the reason why we work with dragons of the body is to heal the body, okay? To understand the body. And for me, when I am having chronic period problems, because for those of you guys who've been subscribed, you'll know that I really, truly, truly struggle with my periods. Sometimes I have multiple periods in a day, okay? Wiener dragons. Winky dragons? I'm so sorry. Red Rover, send my dragons right over. Okay, anyway. No, but seriously, so when I'm dealing with chronic period pains, I will call upon the guardians of the womb. I will call upon the dragons of the ovaries. I will call upon the dragons of the vagina, the dragons of the vulva, the dragons of the clitoris, the dragons of the labia, and I will ask them to help me feel very, very, as much relief as possible. Beads by July. What a wild time to walk in on this live stream. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. We're talking about different dragon types in terms of working with them in the spiritual sense, and I am talking about working with dragons of the body and how I work with dragons of the womb, of the uterus, of the cervix, of the vagina, of the ovaries to help with my very, very chronic period problems. Because sometimes, for those of you guys who experience chronic health issues or chronic pain, you will know you will do just about anything to find relief, okay? Oh my gosh! Scarletto, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather, and womp, in the chat, said a womp, where you at, said a womp, in the chat, said a womp, where you at, okay. Thanks for joining, so good to have you today. Hope you're having fun. So it's literally 5 in the morning for me. Oh my gosh, well, what a way to wake up. It says, squawk, dragons, welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. Multiple periods in a day. Isn't that normal? Oh, sorry. Did I say multiple periods in a day? I meant multiple periods in a month. So I'll have like 2 periods in 1 month. So normally a woman is supposed to have, or I should say anyone with a uterus, normally when a person has a uterus, they're supposed to have a cycle every 28 days or so, and it's supposed to last 3 to 5 days. That has never been my experience. My periods typically last from 9 to 11 days, and sometimes I will get 2 in 1 month, okay? So that is my chronic health issues, all right? Very, very, very hard, okay? But like, I might fight a cancer dragon, just saying. Here's the thing about cancer. Okay, let me tell you something about cancer. Cancer is actually not a foreign disease in the body. Cancer is a mutation of you. It's a mutation of your cells, okay? So let me cook. So if you work with dragons, okay, that are of Cancer dragons, not Cancer as in the zodiac. I'm not talking about zodiac dragons, but we probably should go there. I totally missed all the planetary dragons. You got, you know, Saturn, Jupiter, Earth dragons, okay. You got the Earth planetary dragons and you got the Earth elemental dragons. That is a whole nother conversation. I would argue that Earth dragons in a planetary sense, I would call them Eden dragons. That's what Pickle Chips tells me to call them in a planetary way, okay? I want that hat. Thank you, Scarletto. It's my favorite. It's my pride and joy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have an anxious attachment to this hat. I'm totally serious. But like all of that, or like star dragons, nebula dragons, some would consider those like spirit dragons, right? I consider them cosmic dragons in that sense, you know? Solar dragons, lunar dragons would fall into that as well, right? Eggplant dragons? Yeah, dude, hold on, let me pull it out. I think I have one for you. Let me see. Let's find out. I actually really do think I have one. Hold on. Let's find out. Tea, garlic. Yeah, I do. Oh my God. Here you go. This is for you, Squawk Squawk. Look at him. Look at him. Isn't he so cute? Isn't he so cute? He's so cute. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look what its key is. Fun. Fun. That seems like it has a not eggplant though. You're funny. It is an eggplant dragon. I promise. I promise. But anyway, so yes, work with dragons. I work with dragons of the body. And when I do any sort of like, I guess you could say like crystal healings or any sort of like, you know, body healings or energetic healings on like clients that I work with in person, I will literally call upon the dragons of the body to help me with that. So what does that look like? I will use my pendulum over the body and ask the dragons of the body to move the pendulum in a way that I'm able to interpret what needs to be done. Okay, so this is just how I personally work with dragons of the body. You can also get into miscellaneous dragons in the sense that everything in your life, if you want to take it that far, can have dragon energy to it. So you're gonna have, you know, like a dragon purse, like the guardian of your purse. I know that sounds really fucking cheesy, and trust, I kind of am cringing telling you that live on the internet. I'm cringing for you, probably more than you realize. But yes, you can also create a guardian. This is more into the tulpa egregors we were talking about, but the guardian of your altars, right? I mentioned briefly as well, you can work with candle dragons to help you tend the candles of your thing. That would be like a fire dragon, but you can also have like a cleansing dragon that you give, you know, offerings to keep your space clear. It literally can go anywhere. Can go as deep as you want it to. Like, I promise you, dragons, there's no end. They are the Ouroboros. They are never ending. Life, death, and rebirth. Isn't eggplant an urban vernacular for a man's genitals? Exactly, Pepe. Which is why we were talking, I literally was talking about 2 seconds ago, working with dragons of the body, and I mentioned penis dragons because sometimes people have erectile dysfunction. And if you, or some people have prostate cancer, or some people might have, what's it called? Not as many swimmers, they're infertility, correct? So this is when you work with those types of dragons to kind of develop another connection into what could be going on here. Like, you know, and this is like a practice that I use specifically for my chronic pain, okay? Like, I don't have a penis, so there's that. But I do got the other equipment, okay? So with that, I work with like the dragons that help me with my chronic period pain. Because when you have chronic pain, you guys, you will do anything for relief. Anything. And through my practice, I would take all the medication, even some of the weed. But the second that I literally sat in stillness and connected with the dragons of the body, of the womb, of the uterus, of the ovaries, all of that, that actually brought me some relief. Did it fix everything? Absolutely not. Is this a prescription to, you know, say, do this instead of modern medicine? Absolutely not. When you work with dragons of the body, they should be in addition to whatever treatment or regimen you already are working with, right? So that's why I will work, so like I consume cannabis in drink form for my cramps, right? To physically treat the pain. That is the physical treatment of the pain. Sometimes I'll take pills if it's really that bad. But I will add the work with the dragons of the body to help me, if that makes sense. Explain to me what a dragon is to you. I'm confused. I'm Sam, by the way. Welcome to your daily dose of dragon feather. And here, for those of you guys who are new, a dragon, little description of a dragon, is a being, an interdimensional being of higher vibrational frequency. That is the way that Pickle Chips describes it to me. So some people would consider like ghosts that kind of are like apparitions. You know, some people would consider dragons the same way, the way they manifest. Other people believe in goddesses, or they work with gods, or they work with ancestors. I just work with dragons in that sense, right? So some people make altars and pray to saints. I make altars and work with dragons and talk to dragons, if that makes sense. Dragons of protein. It gets better every time. Like, you guys are so fucking jokes. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed. You can also work with technological dragons, like, you know, if you're into techno-paganism or into tech magic, you know, you can work with electromagnetic radiation dragons. Yeah, you heard me right. You know, like, you can do anything you want. Anything you want when it comes to dragons. Do you know what a vortex is? I heard people use it for helping and have started using it and has been really helpful. Awesome, Christy. Well, let me just blow your mind for a second. Did you know that our hearts aren't a pump, they're vortexes? Yep. The hearts are more rolled in on themselves in terms of tissue. You can literally roll the heart out and roll it back in. And when the heart pumps blood, it's creating a vortex. It's creating that, right? And the vortex is what's going to bring in the blood to the heart and push the blood out, okay? Which is why the heart is literally considered a brain, okay? It has its own neurological functions. The heart has memory. We know this because in people who have had heart transplants, for example, there's this really famous story of this girl who passed away who was murdered, but her heart was transplanted into somebody else, and the girl who got the heart transplant started having nightmares, reliving the way that the previous girl, the owner of the heart, had died. And through these dreams, she was able to recognize the killer and put him behind bars. Because what? Dreams. Dreams. Okay. Music dragons assemble. That is something I forgot in the elemental portion. I forgot to talk about the element of sound. Okay. So let me just tap into that, because some would say that sound, time, and space are very much their own thing. I'm not talking about space in like the outer space sense. I'm talking about space as in like how I have like space in my room, right? This is my space, like my space is my body, right? Like that kind of space, right? So because of that, when you work with like dragons of sound, that's like the dragon of, you know, vibration. Like, what else? Literally, like, sound is its own element because nothing else is like it. Nothing else is like it. Do you know what I mean? Dragon of studs. Oh my gosh. You guys are crazy. Any YouTube videos coming in the future? Yes, we will have one coming out this month. We're currently editing it. It's almost done, so please be excited. And also shorts and stuff too. But the daily dose of dragon feather is just for me to hang out with you guys and talk about whatever we want to talk about. Do you know what I mean? My favorite band is the Imagine Dragons. I love Imagine Dragons. I saw them live, and I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the best bands I've ever seen live was Imagine Dragons. Yeah, hands down, actually. Like, they literally inspired me so much so that I had to just go hardcore back into my music career. Like, I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a fucking pop star. Like, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? Because that's the way it is, and that's the way it is, and that's the way it is. The voices are getting louder. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, anyway. Dragons of whiskey. Yeah, taco dragons. Let's talk about them. You know what I mean? You can literally insert anything and put a dragon at the end. Have fun. Have fun, okay? You know? Not you chill, man. You know what? One of the mods are gonna fucking ban you in a second. Have fun. But anyway, I literally am just like so beside myself when it comes to like the whole dragons and like how deep you could go, because like it's just fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, nah. You can troll here, but that wasn't a good troll, okay? Just nah, like nah. You gotta be funny to troll, you know what I mean? I am nearly on my period. Yeah, Scarletto, well, I'm sending you all my love. All of my love. I was on my way. I knew, Rebel Child. I knew you were coming, man. It was like, but Nightmare View, gotcha. You guys are always battling it out, seeing who could get there first. It's so funny. Dragon of McDonald's? Oh God. I feel like that dragon might support genocide. That's a little scary. Please, if you have not already, I am supporting a family in Gaza. My brother Omar is still trapped in Palestine. If you can please consider donating. The link is in my channel page. You can donate to their GoFundMe, either the Watermelon Dragon link or their GoFundMe directly. Any little bit matters so much. We're so close to reaching their goal, and it just would mean the world to me. Even just $5, my friend. Even just $5. Blood Dragon sounds cool. Capitalist dragons, yeah. So this is actually, if you really want to get into scarier places, like if you put anything, insert anything, and then put dragon, like that can get as scary as you want it to. You can have literally zombie dragons, you can have undead dragons, you can have vampire dragons, but then you can also have greed dragons, you can have wrath dragons, you can have lust dragons, you can have murder dragons, you can have genocide dragons. It all is valid, okay? It's a spectrum, okay? Which is why I say that the type of dragons that I work with are benevolent, okay? I don't work with malevolent dragons, despite the fact that I'm wearing these horns that make me look like Maleficent, okay? I work with benevolent dragons. And if you want to work with benevolent dragons, please know that these dragons want you to do the best you can to be the best you can. Your goal is not a pursuit of power or whatever, insert whatever, okay? Your goal when working with benevolent dragons is the pursuit of your highest evolution, the pursuit of your highest timeline, the pursuit of your healthiest version of you. Peace and harmony dragons, exactly. Exactly. Dragons of chocolate cake, exactly. Keep going, my friends. Yeah, Nazi dragons, no. I'm serious. I'm serious. And this is why, like, my channel has taken such a huge turn towards radical activism, and why like I will probably be labeled as a social justice warrior online now, because it is about the color of your skin, because there are dragons that help evil people too, okay? There are. Why do you think that we have draconian laws as such a reputation, or there's like draconian people, reptile people in the government? Yeah, it's because they're working with very, very, very draconian things, okay? Am I saying they're explicitly working with dragons? Not necessarily. You don't have to explicitly work with dragons to have draconic influence over you. Some of the people who I have met who have been the most touched like by dragon magic have been people who don't even know that they have dragon guardians following them around. Dragons of Doritos. I would love a Dorito dragon. That would be adorable. Are you kidding me? Malevolent dragons? Yes. So Pepe, that malevolent means like ill intention or evil or just like, I guess overall negative or bad, but like benevolent dragons would be considered like good dragons, ones that are compassionate and kind and caring for you, if that makes sense. Can I use dragons for chaotic purposes to destroy things and cause chaos? I mean, Pepe, it really just depends. You know, you gotta work on your connection with those chaos dragons to cause problems, but you have to understand that when you work with dragons like that, they might cause chaos on you if you don't know what you're doing. So this is why I just try to tell people to be like get so in tune with who you are and what you think you want to do with your life when it comes to working with dragons before you even attempt to do so. Not advisable, but sure. Yeah, I would agree, Rebel Child. Chili dragons. No, oh my god, hold on. I literally have one. Hold on. I'll show you. You're gonna love it. I love how much this fucking like garden deck, this like field guide to garden dragons has been. Hold on. There's literally a pepper dragon. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, here we go. It's a hydra. Look at him. Look at him. I know he says pepper dragons. It's not technically chili peppers, but isn't it cute? Come on, man. He's so adorable. I can't. Hello, how are you? Sorry I'm late. It's okay, Rainbow. We're just talking about all different types of dragons. We pretty much covered all of the different types of dragons pretty vaguely, but we're just kind of like talking about like miscellaneous ones and just kind of keep going as deep as we can. I just talked about working with dragons of the body in order to heal and work with chronic health issues, because for those of you guys who have chronic health issues, you know that when you're in the throes of chronic pain, you'll do just about anything to feel relief. And so sometimes I will call upon the dragons of the body, i.e. dragons of the brain, dragons of the heart, dragons of the lungs, dragons of the skin, dragons of the womb, dragons of, you know, the intestines, etc. Flower dragons, still gushing over my sunflowers. Yeah, dude, one of my favorite types of earth dragons to work with are flower dragons. It's just so very, very, very much important to me in my craft. My witchcraft is about balance of light and dark, so that pull to power is there. It's about your personal drive to be above it. No, that's totally fair. Like, everybody's practice is different. You know, some people, you know, will walk me too included, right? Like, I say that I walk a left-handed and a right-handed path, mostly because like I work with dragons on the left-handed path, but I believe in God in like the right-handed path kind of way. So I would say I have like 1 foot in order and 1 foot in chaos, or 1 foot in light and 1 foot in dark. But this is just like what my dragon guardians tell me I need to do. I need to embrace the full spectrum, or how can I be myself, right? Like, how can I truly be authentically me if I reject half of my shadow qualities? Do you know what I mean? There's also flower fae. My fairy companion is a flower fairy. Yes, I love flower fairies. Oh my gosh. I need to honestly, like, maybe that would probably, well, actually, I think like I've really been kind of close to connecting with the fairy recently, and I think it's a toadstool fairy, but we'll see. I don't know yet, so I could be wrong, but like, I don't know, we'll see. I have found some meditation music of dragons on here on YouTube. Last night I listened to the Blue Dragon Last to Bring True Love, but I had nightmares. Why? Interesting. It might be because there could be some conditioning that's still afraid of love in your subconscious. You never know. Sometimes we have nightmares to help us awaken to subconscious programming that needs to be brought to light. You know, it just really depends. So speaking of that, another type of dragon you can work with are dream dragons. Yeah. You know, any kind of dragon can visit you in your dreams, but there are dragons that specifically exist in the dreamscape and only. Oh my god, talkie dragons. Oh no, I want talkies now. What have you done? I'm trying so hard not to eat that crap. I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's only me, and I walk with dragons. Da-da-da. Okay, let me stop. Let me stop before I get copywritten. So I know I missed a lot, okay? I missed a lot of types of dragons in this because that's just the nature of dragons, okay? They're infinite and abundant, and there's just so many different ways to connect with them and so many different ways to conceptualize them, okay? So this was just a basic introductory to dragon types. Please leave in the comments down below, if you're watching on the playback, what your favorite dragon type is, or if I missed your favorite dragon type, which one did I miss? Milk dragons. The dragons of milk and honey. Okay, I'm done. Cheeseburger dragons. Where are all these food dragons? You guys are making me so hungry. I have had dreamed of a dragon before. It was perfecting me, but was hurting people around me. It was huge. Interesting. It's really fascinating, Luna. Jelly dragons, peanut dragons, peanut butter and jelly dragons. No, I'm just kidding. I can't stop. I won't stop. I literally can't. Like, I don't have enough paper to write out all of the dragons. There's not enough paper on the world, on the planet, to write them all out. Do you understand? Fried chicken dragons. There's so much to unpack with that one. But anyway, you guys are crazy with that. All I gotta say is that, like, literally, dragons are like crystals. Even a crystal of the same kind, even 2 crystals of the same stone will look entirely different, okay? They'll be 2 different sizes. They'll be different shaped, okay? Just because both of these are avocado opal or green opal, they both have different energies. okay? Because that's just the nature of life, you know? Literally. Just like the Aphrodite you work with is going to express herself differently to you than the Aphrodite I work with. Toxic waste dragons. Nuclear reactive dragons? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Kit Kat dragons. You guys are so much fun. I'm having so much fun with this. Okay. But yeah, so that's kind of just like the crash course introduction to dragon types. This is by no mean a complete course. This is by no mean the only way to work with dragons. This is by no mean the number one be all end all source for dragon types. No, this is just my experience, okay, with dragon types. This is how I work with them. Garden dragons. Literally, that's what this deck is. It's called Field Guide to Garden Dragons. Christy, I definitely recommend this deck. It's so much fun. So the sky's the limit. I think I'm gonna go get some in and out dragons, but after that, I will be hanging out in the Dragon Academia Discord for the rest of the night, which is also linked down below. Okay, I will be popping in and out of the Hatchling clan tonight too. We're posting something in the Hatchling clan tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. It's gonna be exciting. Okay, we are definitely all mad here, but the best people are mad. Okay. All I'm gonna say. All I'm gonna say. So if you want to hang out in the Discord, come hang out. We'd love to hang out with you guys. It's linked down below. And if you'd like to see more of a deep dive into just what I post here on the channel, go check out the Hatchling clan. All of that's linked down below. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about just dragon medicine and dragons in general and just all the random shenanigans, you can follow me on TikTok, link down below. And also, if you're interested in my music and more of my lifestyle or my main job in celebrity management and marketing, you can follow me on Instagram. But what's the Hatchling clan? Christy, it's an amino group that I created a very long time ago. It's an app called Amino, but you can make like your own like communities. And it's basically a community that I made specifically for you guys. So we can all hang out, you know, chat and post and learn together. You basically go in there, there's chat rooms. So you can find chat rooms on the different topics that you love to talk about them. And then you can also post things. So you can post, you know, videos, you can post, you know, images, you can post, you know, articles, you can, you know, the sky's the limit with you guys, okay? And it's just a really great way for us to go hang out. Really great way for us to connect and get to know each other a little bit better. And I also do like more deep, in-depth explanations of a lot of my videos that I post here on the channel. I really break it down for you guys in like an article type of form. So you guys can have like that type of media too. Some people consume media better through reading. Some people consume it better through watching things. Some people consume it better through, you know, pictures and images. It really just depends. So that's what we're trying to do. Amino is like the Reddit for people who aren't toxic. Pepe. Are you sure? Because literally fucking Amino is so dramatic. Like I literally like don't go to Pagans and Witches Amino anymore because it's just so fucking toxic. Anyway, that was some tea. But the Hatchling clan is pretty chill. We literally are just kicking it. Like the only time people get kicked out of the Hatchling clan is if they're being weirdos. And by weirdos, I mean they're insisting on sleeping with your dragons. Weird. Don't do that. That's fucking weird. That's fucking delusional and just disturbing. Unless you're like religious hate, if no sexual content is allowed in the Hatchling clan, because we have minors there, so please beware of that. We don't talk about any adult content there because, again, minors. And yeah, it's really just kind of a wholesome little place to hang out. So it is pretty bad. I think it is just as bad as Reddit. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what to say. Quality street dragons. What the heck? Street cleaning dragons. Could you imagine? Yes, thank you for, I love your ears. I love this, dude. This hat is like my whole life. I don't even know what to say. Got a little ear piercing. Oh yeah, look, this one has the yin yang on it. I don't know. This has been on it ever since like the beginning. I used to have like bracelets on this. I used to have a boobies bracelet on this back when I was a super emo kid, but Marvel Heroes is Dragons, LOL. Honestly, Although some of the Marvel heroes are literally taken from Norse mythology, so that's awkward. If that makes sense. Why can't humans just not be toxic and weird? Pepe, because if there were some humans that weren't toxic and weird, then we wouldn't have a reminder for the ones who aren't toxic and weird what happens when you aren't nice. We live in a world of duality. We live in a world of polarity, okay? We come here to experience the spectrum, all right? And we're trying to unify through the polarity. That's kind of the idea of this life. You know, have fun. It's really fun time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this live as much as I did, okay? It was really fun. I had so much fun. You guys were absolutely unhinged today. I did not expect that. I did not expect the unhinged shit we got today, but it was so much fun. You guys were amazing. Please subscribe if you're interested, but honestly, thank you for spending some of your day with me today, because you really had no business doing that. You really didn't have to. You really didn't have to listen to some random girl who follows her dragons ramble about dragons all day long, but you did, and I just appreciate that, because you really are like the reason why I do this, you know? I could be talking to myself, but because you decided to click on the video, like, I get to share that with you. And so thank you. I really appreciate you for spending some of your time with me today. And I hope you know that I'll never forget that. You are the one who gave me a seat at the table of all the rooms I go to now in the work that I do. So I owe everything I have to you guys, truly, and I will never not say that, because it's the absolute truth. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys had so much fun today. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky, little hatchlings. Was that too much? It's never too much. But until next time, blessed be and bye. See you in the clan, and see you in the Dragon Academia.